It's a coming. It's a coming. Finally.
That's going to be after X-Men 97 wraps up for season 1.
Yeah, and guys, when I tell you that I'm so glad that I procrastinated my way into not finishing this
glory,
until, like, thinking about what was I thinking trying to have it done on the premiere of the freaking season when, like, it's going to be so much better now. Anyway.
Well, it's just because for all of the fussiness before that trailer, a lot of people are real fucking silent.
Or they're saying shit like this. You got Yellow Fash guy who, if you read that tweet in the middle there, he was wrong about Bo DeMaio.
I was
X-Men 97 is a masterpiece. I agree. Outside the main animation, wrong. You're wrong there. Animation's great. Hire him back. I don't agree with that pending information.
Yeah, I don't know why they fired him. So I don't want to say, "Oh, bring him back," because I don't have a full set of information.
But like, notice like how I'm blocked, right? I've never interacted with this guy on Twitter. I've barely even mentioned him. I don't think I've ever done a video about him, like specifically about him. But that's not all. Me, DJ, Bob, probably Turf too. We haven't heard back from him yet on it, but we're all blocked on Twitter because this motherfucker did this tweet and then decided he wanted to keep this contained, I guess. And then he knew that, those guys are definitely going to talk about it if they see my tweet.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that, Bob of the Old Ways, in Demion too.
Wow, look at that.
Guys, it's insane. And this is on top of the couple of there's like Clownfish TV and I think some other channel that right when the show premiered that they were basically like, maybe you have a little bit of wokeness or something, but this is really good.
Right.
It's like, oh guys, you're making my videos so good.
I was made for this.
Remember it.
Though infinity beckons, I must leave behind my very heart.
Never has there been, never will there be, another such as you. If leave you must, then let us depart together.
Say no more. It cannot be. It can never be. Where soars the silver surfer, there must he soar alone. I've seen galaxies crumble and new suns a-borning. But in every star, in every sun, I see her face.
I apologize, folks. I've got a thing that I have to just finish up real quick. Family stuff. You guys are great. I love you. It's Mother's Day, guys. You know, I'm trying to be like a decent partner and whatnot. We will be on in like, let's see, I don't know, 30 seconds.
Where are all my comic books?
I have nothing left except Spider-Man.
So we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Was right.
Remember
It's coming. Oh, it's coming. It's on the way. Great green. Something like that. Hey, folks, how you doing? Welcome to Forced Adversity Podcast for the newcomers around here who just wonder why we like to call it Fapcast. We call it that because it's convenient, because it's kind of funny, you know, because it really doesn't have anything to do with the podcast, but it also kind of does, because like one of these days we're going to do an episode on fapping, I think. But in order to find out when that is, we're going to go to the FAP expert, Morgan.
I am not the FAP. I would like everyone to know that Dane is responsible for the name of the show.
That's true.
It is all his fault. I will bear no blame in the naming of the Fapcast or its abbreviation to the Fapcast.
The abbreviation is completely incidental, believe it or not. It really is. You know, there's a whole through line of this. You can go back and listen to the episode 0 on the Forced Adversity podcast channel and hear how that name came about of the channel, and then it just like realizing, wait, Forced Adversity. Oh my God, really? Okay, got to use it then. You know,
Yep.
Can't just leave that on the table.
The internet, yeah, we got to use it. So
welcome everybody. It is Sunday when we fap. It's the only day I FAP ever. I don't do it on other days. No. In case you missed the promo that I threw in your face there a couple times at the beginning, this week it finally happens. This week, the other Comics Con debuts, covering the length and the breadth and the girth of season 1 of X-Men 97.
And how the anti-fandom was kind of a one-pump chump on that. They were
one-pump chump.
They were all in on hating, and then they're, we're tired. Oh, we don't got any more.
They got tired of it. They watched the episodes and they're like, oh, that was so good. I gotta take a nap. I can't even fucking make it. I can't even bring up the hatred necessary.
Rug's just smoking a cigarette.
Oh man, I hate whenever, like, come on, quit being silly, background. Give me.
Yeah, your green screen is
do the right thing. Here we go. That's better, maybe. So I had this shirt. I got the shirt the other day. Like, I got it in the mail on, I think, Wednesday last week, and I was gonna wear it, you know, on Friday. But I was like, how can I wear this shirt? Look what he did to my boy. You know,
he really tore your boy several new ones, all of the new ones.
And we're going to get into that for sure, because that is kind of what this episode is. This is, you know, in case you haven't noticed yet, this podcast has kind of become like 1/5 just an X-Men comic book podcast.
Every so often, yeah, we're 3 episodes into our like speed run overview of conservative fuckery in America, and I thought a nice break before we get into what is probably going to be a couple episodes on Reagan. We we should take a nice break to talk about X-Men 97 before the other Comics Con comes out. And here, as we are, this week was the penultimate episode of X-Men 97, which has been beyond fantastic.
Like,
and
I saw somebody saying that they're burning through storylines too fast, and I'm like, do you know how many storylines there are? Do you have any idea how many friggin' stories there are? Like, these are, I mean, they're not burning through storylines; they're burning through story beats that they have like interwoven of that shit. Didn't have anything, if at all, to do with each other in some cases in the comics, but
because Banjo stripping away the magnetic field and tearing Wolverine apart, and like that's all from different stuff. But like also, the original Bastion story sucked. Like that's my hot. This fuck again. I thought we realized this guy sucked.
I mean, he kind of stepped it up a little bit in Second Coming because especially he murked Nightcrawler, and that was pretty hard.
Rolled Nightcrawler, and it was that scene hits me. And like I think even like the trial of Magneto in the comic was kind of fucking lame, compared to how it was done in this, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
And interweaving that with Rogue's sort of repowering arc, which happened way before that in the comics, if I remember correctly. Like the trial of Magneto was the 90s, and Storm getting depowered and getting her powers back happened in the 80s or earlier in the 90s. I forget which. So like, and then obviously the whole Genosha thing, very, very different than in the comics. And I actually like this one better because they sort of used some Krakoa influence to really make it feel like not just a refuge for mutants, but like a home.
It felt like Krakoa, yeah.
A little bit. It was just like a taste of Krakoa, like an appetizer.
Here at the end of all things. But yeah, it's we will get into all this. I have something that's kind of a little bit different I'd like to talk about, and I owe this to my wonderful partner and awesome. She's not my mother, but she is an awesome mother, and it is Mother's Day, so I'd like to shout her out for pointing this out to me because I had never heard of this comic that I have now heard of and bought the first several issues of, and it's kind of crazy. I've never heard of it. Maybe some of you have heard of it. I don't know, but like, pull it up here. It is called Holy Roller. It is written by just like, you're not going to believe me when I tell you it's here's the folks involved. Actually, I'm going to pull up an article on it.
All right.
How many of you have heard of the music group, the entertainment group? They make some classic, dance beats and stuff. Just some really cool family time music. The Lonely Island.
Oh no.
Or this other band that's they make some really down to earth, chill ballads and stuff called Fall Out Boy.
Okay, them I've heard of.
Okay, so The Lonely Island is actually Andy Samberg from SNL, and his buddies. I forget their names. The other guys' names. It's their rap trio that I kind of embarrassingly I know their entire album front to back. That's the one that's like a boss,
right?
And Dick in a Box and all that stuff.
Yep,
that's The Lonely Island, and then Fall Out Boy is fucking Fall Out Boy.
Is right.
Okay, so then there's
their
also
drummer went to my high school. That's about all I know about Fall Out Boy.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Huh. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
small universe.
Those two guys ended up hooking up with a guy named Rick Remender.
Wait, what?
And in
wait, what? Hold on.
And then in 2023, just last year, #1 issue of this called Holy Roller debuted, and that's not even. This is just getting started. Like, this is the most insane story. Just trying to like set it up, insane in the best way possible. Because what Holy Roller is about is a guy named Levi. He's a Jewish guy that's been with Greenpeace for like 20 years. He left his hometown. His dad was like a star bowler. you know, and a practicing, you know, Jew, and he just like didn't want anything to do with that shit, and he just left town for 20 years, and then he comes back into town, you know, because his dad is dying.
Sure.
And he finds that this town's been overrun by, you know, because like a lot of towns, smaller areas these days, it's got a lot of chuds, and a lot of neo-Nazis.
Sure.
And yeah, so he becomes a vigilante in the, you know, somewhat vein of Batman, called the Holy Roller,
The fucking bowling ball.
you know, uses bowling balls and bowling, like trick bowling balls too, by the way, not just like regular bowling balls, trick bowling balls.
Trick? Are you? What?
Yeah. So everyone was sitting around wondering when comedy legend Andy Samberg would join superstar writer Rick Remender and Fall Out Boy's multi-talented Joe Schroman to write a comic about a vigilante hero who smashes people's faces with a bowling ball, and everyone's dreams have come true.
I actually, yeah, no, I get it. I get it now. But
yeah, I didn't know that I needed to see it until I saw it.
There it is.
Art by fan favorite Roland Boschi, the scumbag and Wolverine. To care for his ailing father, Pro Bowler Levi Cohen is forced to quit his dream job and return to his hometown, which he soon discovers has been overrun by neo-Nazis. With only his bowling ball collection to defend himself, Levi becomes the Holy Roller, a trick bowling ball wielding Jewish superhero battling to liberate his home and bowl a perfect game against crime.
So
Kingpin meets Inglourious Basterds meets Batman, that old chestnut, with equal parts action and humor. The first issue is 42 freaking pages.
Oh wow, that is I may. Oh my God, it's
you get
like
some really cool art, some really cool covers. Like it's a winner, guys. Like I straight up bought. And if you use the Bezos machine, I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm telling you how I did it. I definitely recommend, if you can afford to do it elsewhere, do it elsewhere. But I spent $9 something on the first, however many issues are out. I think 7, something like that, 6. But yeah, no, I don't mean the Bowler from Mystery Men, because this is way better than that. This is so much better than the Bowler from Mystery Men. This is like the all the angles and the pathos. I don't know.
This is something.
You're not blocked. Something seems off. What do you mean by that?
No,
you're good. You're
good.
Here. We see you. Anyway, and we can look at a little bit of it if you want to, but I just wanted to recommend this because it's good. It is exactly the kind of thing that I think people that watch this channel on a regular basis would probably get into.
It is a thing that could only exist in comics, right? Like, how do you? Because like you could take that pitch to a movie studio and maybe, but like, you pitch this as a comic book and it's like, oh yeah, we're in, we're all the way in.
Yeah, and then his dad is clearly designed after, I think his name is Judd Hirsch, the actor.
Oh, nice.
Looks a lot like him. Then you got the little Walter Sobchak reference here.
Yep.
That's not his name in here, but there he is.
That's very much who he is.
Yeah.
You can't make a book like this without a fucking Big Lebowski reference. Sorry.
Right. How could you? I mean, I'm surprised we didn't get a Kingpin reference as well, but
oh sure, yeah, that's a classic too.
Those came out like the same year too, I think.
Did they?
Let's bowling comedy kind of year in 1996.
I guess so.
Yeah, and it sets up pretty early that he like knows some shit. He's even though he's basically just a lazy stoner and chilling on a boat doing Greenpeace shit, I guess, stopping whalers or whatever the hell they do. Mm-hmm. And but he is also kind of a badass, and he just smokes weed and hangs out. And like this is his captain, who's just like a really lefty chill bro as well, even though he doesn't look like it. He's a little more uptight because he's a captain, but
right, he's a captain.
He's like, yeah,
that's fucking cool, dude.
Really, really good writing. Like the characterization is just the dialogue is like it's funny, and it like I could see this definitely playing out in a movie, and it being very entertaining. Fully formed characters right here on the page. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's fucking wild.
he gets back to his hometown and he's like, "Oh, look, there's my old synagogue." He's in the car with the cabbie. There's my old synagogue, and then just suddenly, get the fuck out of my car.
Oof.
Yeah, here it is. Get out.
Shit.
That's the first sign that something's wrong.
Something is fucked. Yeah.
Is that you?
Yeah, that's just some guy flying by.
And then there's the element of like him having kind of a strained relationship with his dad a bit, and not wanting to have embraced all this stuff that his dad was trying to get him to think was important, like Judaism and bowling.
Right.
And then suddenly both of those things become really relevant, like when shit really pops off. I won't spoil anything past a certain point in this issue in case you guys want to read it. But once shit really pops off, and it pops off right about here. Hey, look, FAP.
We're in the comic. Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, there's where it really
boom, boom, boom.
Yep. And look, they're Nazis, guys, so you don't feel bad for them at all.
No.
He takes a bullet.
Yikes! Tough.
And then he gets out of there, and well, that's the end of it, basically. Actually, I did show the end. No bad.
You showed the whole issue. Yeah. Oops.
But it's worth reading.
Yeah. Holy shit! The art's pretty good too. Art's decent.
It's very good. And then this is funny. It says, "Hello, my name is Rick. I'm one of the less than beautiful minds behind this gorgeous monstrosity of a comic. A tale that will change." Sorry. A tale that will change not only the way humans ingest information, but the way we feel love. Andy and Joe, who couldn't be here because they're the big Hollywood / rock star. They're at the big Hollywood / rock and roll fartathon orgy with Jerry Lewis still alive.
Oh God, I love it.
Stars, no matter what they tell you, are not like us. They do lots of way cooler shit than anything you do. Deal with it. So, look, we've had literally millions of requests from politicians, dignitaries, and stars of stage and screen, all crazy, horny to know how this comic came together. Well, to fiery hell with them, but I will tell you. And then he goes about telling them.
Nice.
So
that's fun. That's really fun.
I didn't know this existed. It's an Image comic. So through Giant. Was it Giant Generator? Is that the name of Remender's thing?
I don't know.
Imprint? I think it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out when I have time and money to check that out.
Giant Generator is his imprint at Image. And he is exclusive with Image now,
right?
Which is pretty cool.
Because he turned DC down to do Batman, I think was it what it was, right?
Yeah, they wanted him to do Batman, and he was like, no. And I'm willing to bet that it might have been paying more too.
Oh, I'm sure, but you know what? Like, we're getting Rick Remender's Batman with this book.
And plus, he'll end up doing it again one day. He'll end up doing Batman someday.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like he's a pretty young guy comparatively.
He's not that old yet. That they'll, yeah. And like
he'll build up some by the time he does it in 15 years, it'll be like, oh my God, finally Remender's on Batman. And it'll be great.
It'll be great, yeah. And until then, we can get his bowling man beating up Nazis. And you know what? This whole the current Batman arc, I checked it out and it was not for me.
Really? Which one is it going on right now? What's going on?
The whole thing with the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh's and the robot body.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like,
well, look, I did enjoy the failsafe part that I read I think I talked about it on stream. Because I talked about him going to another reality.
Yeah.
And then coming back and how all the references to all the different, multiverse Batman, that was a cool thing. I didn't read past that, so I don't know. I know that they had started using Zur-En-Arrh here a bit, but I did read something about basically he is the main thing now, or what?
Yeah, so I tried to pick it up from Gotham War.
Oh.
And Batman is slowly being taken over by the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh.
Yeah.
And he does something to Jason Todd to make him have a panic attack anytime he's around violence, and is pushing everyone away except for Damien, who's just kind of like happy to be with his dad and not really emotionally aware that like something is the fuck up.
Mhm.
And then the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh gets downloaded into that failsafe body and like
Oh,
arrests
God, damn
Bruce
it.
Wayne and takes over Gotham, and it's just like,
That's, I mean,
punch out, punch out, punch out. Nah, we're done here. Thank you very much.
well, look, I
I've
mean,
had
I
enough.
will give, so, but it does seem like Chip Zdarsky is still Chip on it, right?
I believe so, yeah.
I think it seems like what he decided was, I'm going to commit to just keeping Batman losing this entire run that I do. Like, basically, he's
Yeah.
on his back foot the entire time, from what it sounds like, everything I read, and then that as well.
Yeah, he's definitely on his back foot, but like, I don't think like when the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh was like the Batman in his head and kind of fucking with him was one thing that was kind of interesting, but had sort of worn out his welcome. But now it's just like, I'm you, but better and invincible and capable of killing Superman. I'm just like,
yeah.
I don't need worse Batman who's also Superman. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not that interested. And
It's one of those concepts that's definitely more like less is more, as in like, it's, I get the reason for Morrison creating it.
Right.
And like that, it's actually kind of, it's crazy Morrison stuff, just, you know, the way you want from Morrison.
Right. How he did the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh was definitely a very interesting take on that sort of idea. And then it was fine at the beginning of this, and then it just like, as it goes on, it wears out its welcome more and more and more, because like it has this weird undertone of like the only thing better than Batman is Batman without friends or family or humanity.
Oh, well,
that's my least favorite Batman. Is like
I'm relatively sure that Chip Zdarsky is not going to make that point.
Sure,
his writing, you know what I mean. But I mean, yeah, maybe it's taken him a while to get to the point of.
It's taken too long to bring it out of that.
Yeah,
especially because I saw the new summer event for DC. Like the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh is one of the three main big bads alongside Brainiac and Amanda Waller.
Oh wait, that's right. Yeah, because I actually read that, because I just didn't realize that Failsafe was Zur-En-Arrh now. I see, because I did see Failsafe and Amanda Waller talking to Dreamer in the one shot for Comic Book Day.
So Crash, that must have happened after I stopped reading. I'm glad Tim is back in the book, because Tim is probably my favorite Robin.
Tim's the shit.
Tim's great, but I was already just like checked out.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, sorry I turned you onto it then.
The first stuff you turned me on to, was really good. I really liked it. It just sort of like, once we got really into the Zur-En-Arrh stuff and it wore out his welcome, I'm just
okay.
Like,
I thought you meant you'd like picked up basically where I left off talking about or something.
No, I sort of went back and read the stuff you had talked about, and then sort of went forward with Gotham War and into that, and then
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, I wanted to ask before we get into FAP and X-Men, I've got a little, just a tiny little favor I'd like to ask you guys. Just, I mean, it would, it doesn't mean much,
but you should do it anyways.
It's not a big deal, but look, if you're not subscribed, please do.
Subscribe.
Please do, because as you see, 15 away from 7,000. If there are 15 of you who are not subscribed, look, let me make this appeal to you here. I promise to make content that you're going to fucking love eventually on a long enough timeline. All right. I
promise to be here on Sunday to FAP right in your face.
You're going to FAP right in there. Oh my God. Magneto's having a hard time with this.
Yep.
Let me see if I can do a different background.
I love this panel though from I believe it's from the Blood Hunt Avengers, where I've known good vampires, but I've never known a good Nazi.
Yeah, it's fucking great. Oh, there we go.
It's a classic.
It's just like a bunch of, is that Nazis just burning in the background?
I don't know who's burning. I haven't read it yet. I am waiting till Blood Hunt is done and on Marvel Unlimited to read that, because like it's interesting, but my time is finite.
Yeah, guys, be a subscriber,
Oh, Bob, you're killing it. Bob Scribe.
And if you happen to be the 7,000th subscriber, take a screenshot, send it to me, and I'll fucking thank you personally on stream. But yeah, 7,000. Like, honestly, the channel's been ticking upward for over a month now, and that's, I guess just due to like putting out more content.
That'll do it.
Yeah, it's cool. Oh, I did want to just finish up on the Holy Roller comic real quick. That like it expresses something that I think is pretty common experience these days. A lot of us, I think, were under the impression prior to 2014, 15, 16 or so that just generally, like, things are getting better. Social progress is just something we took for granted, I think. Right? Maybe before that, because I didn't realize how many goddamn racists there were when until Obama was elected. And throughout his 2 terms, I'm just like, wow, there's a lot of these people. Jesus Christ,
What really made me aware of how persistent racism was, and how like the fear pushed about Obama taking away firearms. My grandfather sold firearm parts and firearms. He toured gun shows and stuff. I'd help him out. But like after Obama was elected, his sales exploded. Like just
this didn't like some
bananas.
gun laws lapse too around the same area.
So gun laws lapsed when they let the assault weapons ban lapse in like 2003 or 4. So and then 4 years later, there were, all that had been legal again for a few years. And then they wanted to, or they were afraid that Obama was going to take it away using his magic wand.
Yeah, it never happened. Whatever. Hey, remember, what was it?
There's so many death
the Bowling Green Massacre or something like that. What was that?
Yeah.
Remember FEMA camps, man? Where are those at?
The FEMA camps.
They were certain. That's what around 2012, man. I couldn't hear enough about those. Just all these fucking FEMA camps they're setting up. They're going to put us in death panels and trailers and like what? Mm-hmm. Oh my god. Yeah.
Well, and once again, every accusation is a confession, because that's what they're proposing doing right now, and what they're already doing right now as far as the southern border is concerned.
I just realized that we got to add an episode to our series on conservatism. We've got to add an Obama episode.
I thought that was already on there.
No, I mean, wasn't thinking of it that way. We're just like specifically, let's look at how they fucking changed how they do everything and went crazy.
Yeah.
In that period. Oh shit. Sorry, I gotta send a text to real quick so that I can get someone to get the laundry out of the laundry for me. But I'll be right back.
Liz Bobby, you have it 100% correct. We have death panels. They're called insurance companies. We already have them. And yeah, Project 2025 came to dawn is a big fucking problem. I thought 24 had. Oh, I forgot about 24 is a show that I think like never would have done as well if it didn't debut that fall. I think 9/11 like was the greatest thing that happened to that show. I only watched the first season though, and I couldn't tell you a thing about it other than I am pretty sure I watched it. But that's that time of my life. I don't remember fucking shit. So I have people to remember that time of my life. I don't remember it anymore. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not exactly right either. I think that the Democrats are ultimately they're a party of compromise, and they're a big tent party. And they will compromise to get things done. And what that means is we get bad things and some fragment of good things.
Means I get fucking several texts a day from Joe Biden.
Do you? Oh, I'm not on that. I'm not on that one. I get the state Act Blue ones. I always.
Yeah.
I don't donate to the national party. I donate to the state party.
Yeah.
I find that to be a much more effective use of my money.
Oh, I don't donate. But it does give me an idea of like where their head is at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, here's what our strategy is, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I, you know, I'll be honest. It's kind of nice to not see any sense of desperation. Really, they're just kind of like they're chill about it. You know, meanwhile, Trump, I think, is kind of desperate for money.
If I had to guess if I was a Democratic national strategist, I think my tactic right now would be up until the conventions. Why do anything? Like you already have negative media attention on Gaza, and some of that's well earned. I think we found out this week that Biden put a stop on munition shipments to Israel. It's like, oh, cool. We funded Israel. Okay, sure. We have funding for it. Cool. We're going to leave the weapons on the dock. If you want them, cool it. Sign a ceasefire. Your weapon sales are supposed to be defensive, and you are not doing that. We're cutting you off.
I mean, I don't think that because I have literally zero evidence to think that.
Yeah, I don't
just like go, oh, that's an idea that sounds like it could be something in a movie. Maybe that's real. And then go, yep, I'm going with that.
I also don't think Putin has enough problems as it is right now. Like, even though Ukraine is going better for him than it was because the Russian operatives in our Congress held up funding for the Ukrainians for several months.
Yeah, dude. Talk shit about Democrats all you fucking want to. We don't have a whole bunch of fucking Russian puppets, like just obvious Russian puppets.
Yeah.
If they are Russian, if there are any, then they're at least better at hiding it. Fuck. Sorry.
Probably right. If they're that evil, they're at least better at being that evil. And if we're gonna have villains, I would rather have superior villains, I guess. More competent. I want to look at something quick. While we're on this topic of the Republicans.
This could be anything, though, man. It's like, it could be anything. It could be, if that's the case, which I'll take your word for it. I don't know about that, but, you know, did like the entirety of Hamas did or what? No, that could be just like Putin said, hey, you guys come visit me because he wants to flex and do like a fucking, you know, so much of what Putin does or did until he actually invaded fucking, you know, Ukraine was just like psych out shit. You know what I mean? Like, he's a psych out, you know, kind of guy. I mean, also assassinate, you know, but still. Anyway.
Okay, I'm trying.
Yeah, Biden's doing not the best stuff, man. That sucks. And I wish he would stop.
I wish he would stop.
Yeah.
I wish a lot of things. But okay, so
what are you doing? Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, keep in mind that, like, the Republicans, the Russian caucus and the Republican Party has tried to overthrow their own speaker twice now within a year. And this time they were saved by the Democrats, basically in exchange to get Ukraine funding. Was like, we will cover your ass this one time if you get Ukrainian funding. And the reason that happened is because this is a thing with conservatives. It's never real until it affects them. And Mike Johnson's kid just got into the Naval Academy. And it's like, oh, if this goes badly, if Putin puts boots in Poland, well, then we have to go to Poland. And that means my kid's going to have to go to Poland. So, yeah. But yeah, we had 11 Republicans try and overthrow the Republican Party again because it's the Russia caucus. Yeah, because Poland is NATO, and we are obligated to help our NATO allies if someone sets foot in their territory.
Word. I mean, look,
And
I
like
mean,
I have
we could probably let it go. And when has something bad ever happened with somebody invading Poland? You know? No? Bad? No? Okay. Bad joke.
yeah, no, but like invade like yeah.
That Netanyahu has been talking to Hamas before October 7th.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some stuff that like
Well,
that would be, even though I have no evidence of that either, that does seem like, because Netanyahu is fucking nuts, dude.
well, the thing with that is like the truth in that is that, and I don't have it pulled up because this is not the topic we had on the agenda today, is that Israeli intelligence put Hamas in charge because they didn't want the Palestine, the PLA in charge of both the West Bank and Gaza.
Right.
Because they are more secular and attract more positive international attention. And so they basically funded this extremist religious group to take over Gaza on the DL. And that has been documented by intelligence agencies and leaks over the years. So on an episode we do about that, which we're not going to do for a while.
Well, we're doing it right now, apparently.
Apparently.
So. We need to move on.
We need to move on because this is, yeah. This is that show, just not today.
It's a lot. I mean, and plus, like, we're not like experts on this.
No.
But, you know, in case you guys didn't see this, the initiative, you know, we are branching out and we're trying something new because, you know, there's been a demand for it. So here's a quick little advertisement just to show you what we're up to lately with the initiative and the showcast. Are you facing an impossible life choice? The initiative is here for you. You probably shouldn't have that baby. I mean, think about it. The world's on fire. Think about the grifters and all the political demons that we cover on our channels all the time. You want to bring a baby into that? Plus, man, you got shit to do. You got video games to play. We only have so much time on this world. You know, and plus babies, man, babies are, they suck, okay? They're really, really difficult. And then they can get older and become little shithead toddlers too. Holy shit. You don't want any of that, man.
And worse.
Besides, what if your kid grows up to be like Milo Yiannopoulos, you know? No, not because he's gay, because he's a fucking Catholic piece of shit. Completely separate. Yeah, you don't want to risk that. Choose life. Yours. Abort that thing. Or don't. You know, we're not medical experts. We're not even good at our own life choices. But if you can't trust YouTubers who talk about fan stuff, who can you trust? This has been a message from the Abortion Initiative.
Oh, nice. I fucking love it.
Yeah. So, you know, there you go.
And the problem, well, I think Milo says he is ex-gay now, that he that God saved him or something.
But he's just a gay man. He's always gonna be a gay man. You don't be ex-gay. He's just really desperate to have a job making some fascists happy. I don't know what his deal is. So
for a while, I know after his conversion to Catholicism, he was on some like Christian shopping network hawking like overpriced plastic crosses. I think now he's working for Magic the Gathering for Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG, yeah.
Oh God, I was like for a second, I'm like, are you fucking serious?
I mean, WotC hires the Pinkerton, so I wouldn't be surprised, but because the acronym is the same, and I'm just like,
get it now. Yeah, as soon as I was like, okay, yeah, I'm stupid for thinking of that, but yeah, it's really sad in a way that, like, you know, you just know that there's nothing about this guy that's ever really going to be happy. I don't think, you know, with himself or something. I don't know what it is. I don't know what gets you all twisted up like this, but
Evil's
he
hard
is
living.
Just an example of, I don't know where I was going with this. I was trying to do a segue into X-Men 97. I don't think we can do it. I know I've dropped it. Failed.
Well, you know what it is, right? It's this, like, you allow yourself to hate for so long, and, you know, you want to be this defender of humanity, but you turn your mother into a fucking robot.
Yeah. I mean, fuck. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, did you see the painting on the wall of Genosha? The Genosha. It was basically, it was like he basically stared at that. He knew he was meant to do that like his whole life. That's fucking crazy. This is so much a better version of Bastion than the comic book.
Yeah,
version.
the Bastion of the show and the Bastion of the comics are two different characters, and you know, I think the popular perception with anything that is an adaptation is that the book is always better. This, no.
Well, I mean, I also know I definitely push back against that because I know
so do
several examples that don't.
Yeah, no, it's not a great. People say it's a rule, but it's not.
It's not a rule.
My go-to is Jurassic Park. I think the movie of Jurassic Park is infinitely better than the movie.
Fight Club.
Or the movie is better than the book. Fight Club's another one, yeah.
Perfect example, as well as like. Yeah, by the way, here, just wanted to show this because it's fucking funny to me.
Yep.
Just fucking funny to me. Oh man, poor guy. You deserve it.
Yeah. And that haircut, God. You at least used to have style, dude.
Did he? No, I guess he did. He really did, actually. Anyway, yeah, the
he didn't look like a youth pastor.
Yep. A gay one, but I guess that's kind of redundant.
Yeah.
Got him all at once.
All of them.
Let's see. So no subscribers yet. Every single one of you watching is subscribed right now. That's crazy. I appreciate
That's awesome.
it. But
your friends, get your friends on here.
Yeah,
you have friends, don't you?
Got 20 people watching right now. If all 20 of you are not subscribed, then look, I'm gonna kill a puppy or something. That's not a good way.
Okay, you are not the governor of whatever state that is.
Christy Rome. Christy, what's her name? Nomi Christy
Puppy Killer.
Yeah, it truly is, Greg. Like the way that they take, because in a single episode, let's talk about this most recent episode and see how many storylines we can identify that they included, right? Oh yeah, that's a good point. We might need to talk about that later on. Starting off, we got right at the beginning. Well, I guess let's just start with Tolerance's extinction as a two-parter so far.
Right, we are 2/3 of the way through this.
So in the first one, it was trying to think. You had Magneto doing the Magneto thing, the EMP.
Right.
You have Bastion and Operation Zero Tolerance. You have
Cable.
Yep, Cable, and then what else was it? Stop, chat. I just can't think of any immediately.
We got like Hulk and Captain America tie-ins.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that wasn't in this this episode.
Oh, you're right. It was.
I was trying to keep it contained because if we start just naming them for the whole series, just this season, it's going to be insane. Then it goes into let's see. Okay, so you also have Professor X coming back from the Shi'ar Empire. You have,
and that was never, as far as I remember, there was never like the comics never made a big deal about like him going and coming back.
No, because it was I think it was a retcon kind of thing.
Yeah. We're like, this show has used it pretty expertly. We're like, all right, we are all going to act like Xavier is dead. And even like, I think from like the character standpoint of the X-Men, because the characters in universe have finite knowledge. They don't think they're ever going to see him again. It was, this might save his life. We're going to take him to try and save his life. We don't know if this is going to work, and he's not coming back.
By the way, did I mention last week something about the showing Nightcrawler's BAMF from within the BAMF?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's fucking cool.
That was so cool. That scene is so cool. All right, so we have the Shi'ar Empire stuff. Just in the last in part one.
Yeah.
The Shi'ar Empire stuff. We have Operation Zero Tolerance. Tying in more heavily to the time travel element, because like Bastion's already kind of a time travel character.
Yeah. Although it's a different kind of thing than he was in the comics for sure. It's
Yeah.
the long game.
Mhm.
It's almost like he's like time travel cyborg or like machine Jesus in a way.
Kinda,
Like,
yeah.
but like the Antichrist or something. I don't know.
He sees himself as a messianic
That's what I was going to
figure.
say. Yeah, he definitely sees himself as a Jesus kind of thing. Yeah, I've heard Crash that the X-Men tie-in comic wasn't so great.
I
The
haven't read it.
97 comic. That's fine.
Hey, McCall.
And of course, it has a tie-in comic. They're releasing a Marvel product on adaptation. They're going to put out a comic book that is correlates with it, so they can make those few extra bucks.
Right.
Oh yeah, Uncanny 200 was Trial of Magneto and ends with Xavier leaving with the Shi'ar. Comes back after the X-Men go to space and fight Skrulls just before X-Men #1 happened. True. Yes.
There we go.
Yeah. That clean break there at X-Men #1. It's crazy. Like, I it took me almost my whole life to kind of like fully get the context of what happened before I started reading X-Men comics with X-Men #1. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and when it starts off, it's just like at this perfect little, static frozen, point. And that was the editorial mandate.
Right.
And I can imagine now thinking back, like Claremont must have been pissed, dude. Like, holy shit.
I have to imagine.
He yeah.
And then you have, with Magneto shutting down flicking up the Earth's magnetic field, that is from, what is it called?
Is that from Zero Tolerance?
Extinction Agenda?
Oh, E is for Extinction.
I thought that was the attack on Genosha. E is for Extinction.
You might be right. It is from the Morrison run though, the end of it.
I thought it was earlier than that because it was tied into the legacy virus stuff, because it's not DaCosta that joins Magneto, it's Colossus.
You're right. So I'm thinking of
Colossus is pissed about his sister being dead.
Yes. And what I'm thinking of is he basically just kind of fucks up New York, but that wasn't even really him.
That was Zorn, maybe.
Yeah. Zorn. No, it was Joseph.
Oh, it was Joseph.
I get.
Yes.
Because really, like, I kind of get it, but at the same time, like, Morrison made such a bold choice with Magneto in that story that he's just irredeemable after that.
Yeah.
He became a fucking drug addict, just like petty, low. It's like all of his grandeur was gone whenever you realize what he'd done and what he was motivated by and shit.
Extinction Agenda. Thanks, Greg.
Genosha,
but even
engineer, yeah.
With this, they gassed up the stakes, because in that I believe that like Magneto wasn't gonna ruin the Earth. Like, it wasn't gonna render the Earth uninhabitable, where it's like, oh, Earth is gonna end today. Like, we've got half a day to like put this shit under control. Otherwise, oops, everyone's dead.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that was putting a clock on it like that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It made it feel relevant and like, oh shit, we gotta do this.
It also lets us divide, like it lets them split the team, right? Like that you can sort of have beats for all these characters instead of having them all be in one place. Like, and you can use your action shots more effectively. Where like half the team is going to do.
However, at the time that they were dividing the teams up, I'm like, okay, cool. We get mentions of blue and gold. That's good.
Yeah.
Cool, but they had to all realize that really each one of those scenarios was going to require as many of them as possible. Yeah. Like, and that dividing them up was almost like, we're guaranteed to get fucked here.
Right.
I mean, not to say it's an enviable position to have Magneto on one hand and Bastion on the other, but
right.
I do like how they're like, thousands of people have died. And I'm like, thousands really
more
show.
Well, it is nominally a kid's show, so only thousands.
Thousands more died. There's no shit. I'm like, yeah, those are rookie numbers compared to the comics Magneto. Talk about 16 million or some shit.
16 million in the comics. And like when Magneto pulls the power up, but between Magneto pulling the power on Earth, like you're gonna kill millions of people doing that.
Instantly, that would kill millions and millions.
Yeah.
And then like
everyone in an airplane is dead. Everyone in a submarine is dead. Everyone with a pacemaker is gonna have a bad time at the very least.
I mean, and then like you're talking probably 500,000 or more a day after will die, just based because of ripple effects and shit.
Yeah,
it'd be insane.
Food insecurity, panics, violence,
riots in the streets, cats sleeping with dogs,
mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria. Yep.
So, but on the Earth team, we got a bit of a Sins of Sinister reference.
Yeah, but I think that was not the first time. Sins of Sinister wasn't the first time he's done that though, where he's caused someone
with the red diamond.
Yeah,
like they specifically used that like Sins of Sinister red diamond iconography on someone being whammied by Mr. Sinister.
What I'm saying is that like I'm pretty sure there was another story years ago where him controlling somebody, they manifested a red diamond on their head.
I thought that was just Miss Sinister. That's the only one I can remember.
Maybe,
but
maybe. Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's just a difficult thing here. I thought about actually naming this stream something like, Magneto is right until he's not.
Until he's not, right? Magneto is right, and also overreacting.
Yeah.
Not helping.
That's always been the thing. That's always been the thing with the best villains, really, and Magneto being just the perfect example of like so correct, just so absolutely morally fucking right in theory, then the actions that they take are just not good. Not only not good like from a moral perspective, but from a pragmatic perspective. I saw people, by the way, getting upset at Captain America for not wanting to help Rogue. And it's like, well, first of all, he didn't say he didn't want to help her.
Right. He said the situation was complicated, which is true.
And like you may just choose to glaze over and hear that as him just going, "Oh, I'm sticking with the government," because some people apparently did.
And I see how they get there, but I don't think that's not how I read that scene.
No, he's literally saying like this. Me doing this would make things worse for mutants. You doing what you're doing is probably going to make things worse for mutants, and but like, yeah, she was supposed to be on a fucking, and it does kind of. I get it. I feel the feeling of like being like, yeah, she's on a righteous mission right now, but like,
it's like she's not thinking.
Yeah, she's completely reacting, lashing out, and like she is a super powered fucking super being that can kill a lot of people.
Right.
So and like anything that she does under those pretense is probably going to be bad for mutants. Going to cause bad things for mutants, worse things for mutants.
Worse things, right? Yes. Like her rage is justified, but like how she has gone about handling it has not helped anything.
Yep.
Especially with like, okay, so Genosha's fuckled. They're reliant on generators for power and food shipments from elsewhere that come via, I imagine, some sort of boat with an engine of some sort that needs electricity. Great. Cool. We're going to starve the rest of the mutants, Magneto.
Well, yeah, like that's what I was thinking of watching. It's like, okay, what was the fucking point, Magneto?
Right. Right?
He's just like, yeah, I'm done with this shit. Now I get it because they did set it up. It's well set up that he is in the state of mind to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But just there's no logic behind it, and that's obvious because like he
didn't think it through.
Look, when he says the line about the seeing the kid's eyes vaporized in his skull,
yeah, that'll fuck you up.
Fuck, dude. Yeah, I get it, man. That's heavy.
I get why he's there, but he's going to kill his own people doing it, and I don't think he cares.
Yep. Nope. He's just and he had to show up with his mountain in tow just to kind of like take some dunks get some dunks on Charles.
I mean, sometimes you don't look. There is nothing wrong with dunking on Charles Xavier.
He really deserves it a lot. So,
Yeah,
and
just for Leech.
then that moment where he's like, I've been wanting to say these words for a long time.
Shut up. And I'm just like, yeah.
Yep.
Like, Magneto, you have been wrong this whole episode, but here's your Magneto is right for the episode. Yeah, my boy Leech. Oh,
I mean,
God.
hashtag for like all the people that died, but yeah, Leech especially.
So tragic. They set that up so well. Oh, God.
Magneto's not a guy that likes to promise things, and when he does, I'm sure he likes to keep them. And he promised that kid that things were going to be okay,
Yep.
And then, in fact, it seems like Leech probably saved his life.
He did. Yeah, he would have had to.
Yeah. So yeah, I get it.
So
Rogue as well, it makes perfect sense that she, and that's what I really love about this series is that even these are characters we know what they did in the comics, we know what the events were in the comics, but like seeing them play out differently, and then the way they've set it up, it's like, yep, I get it, Rogue, you're going, I get it, I believe that shit. And then I was a little bit surprised by Sunspot, but it made sense once he said.
I really liked his story the last couple episodes.
Yeah.
And really the whole show, we're like, he's just kind of a background character for the most part. For most of the show so far. He's not really active. He's an observer. Even when he's introduced, he doesn't want to get involved in this broader conflict. He's like, why can't we all get along? And then it hits home. And then it's like...
hits home in a way he wasn't expecting.
Right. Because at first his mom was like, oh, yeah, we knew. And, oh, great, cool. Oh, but now we have to handle it.
Right.
And now I'm going to, like, your son comes flying into your party and you hand him over to the fucking Sentinels.
Yikes.
And like, yeah, you wonder, like, this is how you see how he gets radicalized. Like, yeah, Magneto's right. Fuck these people.
Yep. And I mean, it is also kind of jarring just because I know Sunspot pretty well from the comics at this point, and yeah, he's his own man.
He really is. And so, like, it's one of those things where, like, him siding with Magneto kind of in place of Colossus really makes sense. Or it's just like, yeah, like my family sold me out, right? Like my butler sold me out. Like my mom's butler tried to kill me.
But at the same time, like the fascists are smart because you notice that whenever the fucking fascist robot zombie people showed up trying to kill him, when they noticed that, oh, there's all these wasps around.
Right. The flat cans are around.
They're like, we're just here we wouldn't hurt you. We
would never hurt you.
Take care of you.
Power down our blasters.
Right. It's like, oh man, that's insidious, Bastion, you piece of shit.
You turd weasel.
Yep.
So yeah, it really is just like how easy it is to manipulate society at large against a minority group. Like, oh, we're not going to hurt them. We're going to help them.
Right.
Look at these statistics. We're not incarcerating Black people specifically. We're just following where the crime statistics are. Never mind that, like, those statistics exist because we over-police in certain areas. And because we over-police there, it looks like there's more crime, which causes us to over-police there more, and so on and so forth. Well, fuck Mikhail. He's a shithead. Fuck that guy. But yeah, so I like, it really is like how someone becomes a radical. Like, yeah, that will do it. When your mom hands you over to the fucking cyber zombie Gestapo, like, yeah, it's time to fucking burn it down, especially as a kid. And a kid who's been sheltered, right? So sheltered that you burned down 4 houses and your parents covered for you. Like, you are sheltered beyond sheltered. I would go farther than that, McLeod, because this is like, they will just fucking they were gonna take them out back and shoot them.
What was it? Didn't the Nazis tell people certain things about where they were taking the Jews and stuff originally? They're like, oh, we're taking them to like a happy camp upstate or
I
something.
have no idea. The story as to where they were taking people varied over time, is about as much as I know. It also mattered like where in Europe they were taking them from, because at a certain point it was, oh, we're just taking them to kill them.
Oh, you forgot, huh? It never leaves my mind.
Yeah, I cried.
I mean, no, because I mean, it really doesn't fit in with this season at all. I mean, the stuff that they've used has been pretty tightly wound into the overall narrative arc.
Hot take gods, I hope not.
Yeah, right.
I don't like the Brood. I think they're a cheap knockoff.
Look, can we just admit that was a product of Claremont watched Alien one weekend and was like,
yeah.
oh, fuck. I'm excited about it. Like he maybe didn't feel like didn't have any new ideas, so he said, "Oh, that movie was good. I'll just
fucking do that."
You know,
and that was fine for a comic arc 30 years ago. I don't need it again.
Well, I mean,
that said, though, like, we were just talking about how, the original Operation Zero Tolerance arc was shit in the comics.
Right. They could, I'm sure that they
could glow it up. Yeah.
Well, actually, here's a question though, because Bo DeMaio is the head writer of this season.
Yeah.
He's not going to be on the next season.
Well,
he apparently had some development input, I guess, on the next season or two, but like he's not. So, like, do you think
I think season 2 is in the can? I think season 2 is already done.
Oh, okay.
So I think season 3 is the first one where he only had some input before he was canned. I imagine this show kind of sticks to Earth. It seems to like that.
Well, okay, so all right. So yes, I was once for a long, long time in my life as an X-Men fan, a firm believer in this, and I mean, generally, I still do think it, but like, the reality is that the conditions don't exist for this dream to be real. And what do we do about that?
Yeah, as long as there is a profit motive for bigotry, you can't get there. Because it's selling hate's easy. It's really fucking easy. And so until you can manage that problem, it's just a dream. And that's, even in our world where the minority in question doesn't have superpowers. We're like, yeah, I kind of get being afraid of Magneto. Oh, this guy can have a terrible day and just be like, oh no, we're going to fuck the Earth. Raw. And that's why Magneto considers it naive, but Magneto's also naive too. That like there's no pragmatism in Magneto, right? Like Charles has no pragmatism because he's an optimist, and Magnus has no pragmatism because he's a nihilist. At a certain point, he's just like, when he gets angry enough, he's just like, fuck it, kill it all.
Sorry, I'll be right back.
Oh, sure. Yeah, like I agree. We have to, fight bigotry, and we can't. If the last 10 years have taught us anything, it's that we can't stop fighting bigotry, and we have to accept that, as you mentioning, peaceful protest only, like no protest is peaceful when you can propagandize it. like, I don't think what's happening on these college campuses, as far as like anti-Israel protests, are violent protests. I think the police react to college kids violently, and it is portrayed in the media as college kids making a violent protest when that is not what's happening. And so peaceful protest is a very pretty illusion. I don't think that even if your protest is peaceful, there always will be a motivation to manipulate its portrayal to make it appear to be violent. And in our policing culture and in our media ecosystem, that's so incredibly easy to do that whatever the left of center protest is, there's always going to be a contingent to go, oh no, that's violent, that's too far, that's too extreme. Whether it's protesting on a college campus, or blocking up a road, or splashing a can of paint onto a famous the case a famous piece of artwork is in, or gluing yourself to a piece of artwork's display case. There's always going to be a megaphone ready to amplify complaints that that's a bridge too far.
Yes. I approve of all of that conversation. It's all good conversation.
Like,
yeah, and there was I think it was generally I don't like him, the guy, but American Johnson. He did a good video about this in 2020 during the cop riots that were going on that summer.
Yeah, he
showed how like there were people standing around peacefully and like generally, and these are people that like the same people that would generally be fighting later, kind of thing. Right. Like, but like all day they're standing around and they're just kind of even in just talking casually in some cases amongst each other, amongst themselves. And then the news station, I think it was CNN or something, was there the whole time, but they were not filming.
Right.
You say it was like somebody's cell phone shooting them, just like standing there with their hands up their butts,
Yeah.
And then as soon as something popped off, CNN's like, oh, film it. And they're like, we're here live with the blah, blah. And it's like so stark when you see it that way, like, it's just,
well, wow. Like a lot of especially with the 2020 protests, when those kicked off in Minnesota, some kind of store burnt down, and it turns out it was the guy got arrested eventually. It was some right-wing shithead.
Yep.
But every news station in the country was saying it was the Antifa. George Floyd protesters. It was Antifa. And they ran with that without any verification of that.
So I agree. Like we firmly do. I mean, we do. It just is necessary.
Yeah.
To go beyond that at certain points. However, like, so my attitude about 2020 was, at first I was all for it. I was, I made videos about it. Actually, I made one video about it. And even when I made that video, I had already moved beyond the position of being fully in support of what was going on down there every night in Portland. Because they did it for like 120 nights, something like that, in a row, just fighting cops.
Right.
And probably around the 100th night was whenever I'm just like, I could tell that sentiment was turning.
Right.
Because sentiment was with them for a long time.
It was.
But then eventually it's just like, that's what I think you just they have to know when it's not like pragmatic to do anymore. That like, you're not helping anything now. You're just doing it almost out of like principle to not stop because we won't be stopped kind of thing. It's like, I admire that, sure, but you gotta kind of weigh the optical costs.
Well, and no one know what they're saying, what people are saying about you, right? Like at that point, nobody knows why you're there anymore.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
The cops responsible had been arrested.
When the circulating images of George Floyd and other people that have been, hurt and killed and stuff, when those kind of go away and you're mainly just seeing fires and like young white kids, throwing shit at cops, it starts to change sentiment.
Mm-hmm. And so one thing I'd recommend is you probably have one. If you live in even near a metropolitan area, your local news stations might be good. They might not be. Depends on what companies own them. And that's a whole other can of cans. But little community newspapers, often have a good ear to the ground for some of that, especially if they're minority owned. They're a good resource to just sort of understand the sort of heartbeat of your community in a way that isn't covered by larger news outlets.
As long as your local news isn't owned by goddamn Sinclair Group, then sure. And maybe even still then, if they're not, just, do your diligence.
Yeah.
Find out who owns them.
So, all right, X-Men.
Sure.
They're mutants.
So McLeod's got a multi-part
I see that
thing here. Believe it or not, he never does that. The thing is, and this is me neither propping this up idea or condoning the thought of it. I'm speaking more from a historic standpoint. In order for such a dream to be realized, especially when living in the real world, where it seems that all the protesting, boycotting, and use of democratic processes are getting us nowhere because your country's own history is littered with such actions, the anti-war and civil rights movements of the 1960s. I'm still waiting on to hear a point on that one.
Yeah. All right. So we can't live in the past.
Nope.
We can learn from it.
Yep.
But we can't live in it. That's how we got in this mess in a lot of ways.
And we can't, another thing I would say on top of that, we can't operate entirely from pain and trauma.
No.
Even if it is, like valid pain and valid, you feel you're righteous to be angry and hurt and stuff, like I do believe we have to do better than that.
The goal has to be restorative justice. Has to be. Otherwise, and you see this throughout history, otherwise you just repeat the cycle. Win, lose, or draw. If you are not focused on fixing the problem, and what sucks is fixing the problem is hard. It sucks. It's not easy. It's much easier to break things and tear things down than it is to build something new. Or to repair something that's damaged. I think our media ecosystem is damaged. I think our judiciary is damaged. I think our law enforcement needs to be rebuilt from the ground up.
I mean, damaged to say the least, but is it even fixable at this point? I don't know.
I mean, the judiciary is, I think it's salvageable because with an active Congress, which is doable, we've seen, even in the last couple of weeks, we've seen Congress pass very expensive things to give weapons to other countries. With an active Congress, we can expand the size of the federal courts. And not just like expanding the Supreme Court, which I think we should do. I think we have, I believe, 13 appeals court districts, I believe is the number. We should have that many Supreme Court justices.
Yeah.
But also expanding those federal courts, federal appeals courts. Those are so backed up because of corporate lawsuits in particular that take years to sort out, because it's the world's worst game of rocket tag, where everyone is just has a stack of millions of dollars and just filing every little motion, and every little appeal, and it backs up the court so much that like we need to restructure our judiciary, and the easiest way to do that is to add more seats to these benches. You could also divide up the court where like, yeah, these judges handle corporate cases in a circuit. That's all they do. If that means that they only get through so many corporate cases in a year, well, tough shit.
Okay, so I mean, I do want to call this out just real quick because, like, I appreciate the sentiment, but that is ultimately what this is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not this one. This is not the one. This is one I meant. Yeah, that one. Like, what does this mean?
What is fighting?
You know, I feel like we're kind of to a point where we need to have conversations more specific than this.
Yeah.
You know, this is like, yeah, peace and restorative justice is good, but I mean, like,
there's a difference between self-defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's these are just kind of.
I can believe in restorative justice and being peaceful, and also the right to defend oneself.
If I need to defend myself, I absolutely will. And I don't think anybody, you know, I don't know anybody here anyway is excited to like fight, like literally wants to get in a fight. But I think probably most people are willing to defend themselves. They need to and understand the stakes. And then, but like as far as what Lucifer's talking about, yes, I think that is it. Like I think people are always trying to, you know, oh, Magneto's right. Xavier's right. Well, nobody says Xavier's right. Nobody wants to say that. No. That's the liberal position, right? But like the fact is, it is that X-Men is not trying to, and this is kind of goes back to what I've said before about other pieces of media where they're like leftists want it to say a specific position. It wants it to take this position when I'm just like, can we not recognize that this just wants us to have a conversation about this?
Right.
And like we can figure it out ourselves. I don't think a fucking show we shouldn't want a show to tell us exactly what to think about real world issues, but like giving us the language and the perspective to kind of like begin thinking and talking about it, I think is it's a big deal.
Right.
You know, and yeah, so that's what I think the X-Men is about, is as far as like the Magneto Xavier of it all.
I think, yeah, it's to inspire us to greater understanding and greater comprehension, not to think one of them is definitely right and definitely wrong when the show goes out of their way to go like
both of these guys are wrong. Like, they both very clearly are fundamentally good men, I think.
Right.
That love their people and want to see, for varying shades of perspective there, like a peace enacted.
Right.
Just very different ways of going about it. And then they are also very, because they're so full of these ideas, they're egotistical men. They are very set in their ways. They, honestly, I was thinking about earlier, the fact that they did what they did with Magneto this season, like where he is now compared to where he started out, it's crazy.
He really tried.
It's so fucking well done.
Yeah. Like you on the show does such a good job over the 9 episodes we've had so far of showing you where Magneto starts, and like Charles is gone. He's here to try and live up to his expectations. He's going to play along with the UN. He's going to try and help Genosha. He's going to lead the X-Men. And some fucko knocks over his castle. And he goddamn loses it. And when he loses it, when you're an Omega level mutant and you lose it, it's a problem for everybody. And that, like, he does not understand. Well, he, in the state he is in, and I think even before now, I think he has never come to grasp, in his interpretation of the character, has never come to the grasp of he is the apocalypse. He is the end of the world in human form.
Yeah.
And that there is a level of responsibility that comes with that power and knowing how to use it and knowing when it is the lever to fuck things up with. Because it would be one thing to go, okay, so if I'm, you know, Magneto and I break out of Bastion's base, I'm fucking just level the base, right? Like, why are there survivors? No one in there is a good person. Like, I get you want to have What's-Her-Face and Bastion have a chat and deliver that line, but, like, you could have her survive, or, like, it looks like he just, like, flew out of that place.
Yeah.
And, like, okay, so who gave Bastion his money? Which military-industrial complex funded this guy? I wonder who funded the Sentinel program the whole time. All right, let's just go, like, EMP the Pentagon. Not the whole world.
Right. Yeah.
Let's go find, you know, the responsible parties, because he could do that, right? He is still the leader of the X-Men. He has the resources to execute a targeted revenge, but because he's mad and he's not thinking, he is irresponsible with his powers and using them inefficiently to just kill everyone. Whereas Charles, like, wants to soft glove everything. Charles is like, we have to be as, you know, kid glove with this as possible, when, like, no, you can't. You can't whammy Bastion. You can't mind control the Prime Sentinels. You're gonna have to put them down one way or the other. And he doesn't want to do that. He's like, oh no, we have to, like, get Magneto to stand down completely. That's never going to happen. You know him well enough to know that. Like, you...
Well, plus, so Magneto seemed, maybe he has considered it prior to, but he just wasn't in the moment. But, like, you know, in the real world, you have people who are, they're just, they can't wait for, you know, I don't know what, to hear on the news that the new mass shooting was done by a black man,
right?
Or that, you know, there was that I guess, I'm not sure what the status ended up being, but supposedly trans person school shooter last year or whatever.
That remains inconclusive.
Yeah, that they were all over that. They couldn't. They fucking they were salivating at that shit. And so there are people who, it's almost like part of the oppressive system that they want someone to represent that evil, you know, example that they can hold up.
Well, even with the Uvalde shooting and the other shooting in Texas, where the guy was a white Hispanic neo-Nazi.
Yeah.
The right-wing propaganda machine set out to frame trans people by going on, like, Instagram and finding trans people who just kind of looked like that person vaguely.
Right.
Or had a similar name to that person, to try and frame that person. Just trying to get a story out there for the media to coverage. And what would happen is you'd have your larger right-wing TikTok and Twitter accounts share it out. And then you would have your Tim Pools and your Daily Wires go, oh, this is what their, you know, early reports from Twitter are saying, or investigators are saying this. And it's like, oh, they can show all these tweets.
You know, the sad fact is, and this is what's really one of the things that's really difficult, is that the people that are going to buy that, they don't need to be proven that this is.
No, they don't need evidence. They just need
the hint of this being possible for them to run with it.
Right.
And then good luck convincing them otherwise. You know.
Right.
It's. Yeah.
So, like, but, like, it's one of those things where, like, Charles's dream is a good idea. Magneto is right in his observations, but Magneto's solution is always the heaviest possible hand, and Charles is always the softest. When, like, you need chocolate in your peanut butter, like, you need someone to go, like, grab the Prime Sentinel by the scruff of his jacket and go, like, this fucker was trying to kill that kid like 6 seconds ago, you dumb fuck humans. I'm gonna toss him out of building now. Bye-bye. He'll fly back up. Watch, I'm gonna toss him. I'm letting him go. He's gonna fly back up. Well, look at that. He flew back up. Now kill him. We're like, but you can't just fucking kill everyone. You need to, like, I think this to bring it to the Krakoa era. I think this is one of the things that, like, when that started, that was used to sell Magneto and Charles on helping Moira with this whole plan was like, Chuck, you're always softballing it. Your dream is never going to pan out unless we, like, strong arm these guys.
Right.
And also to Magneto, like, you can't just throw space rocks at everything, you moron. Like,
no,
we get it. You can throw space rocks.
One of the brilliant things is it's like, no, guys, have you tried, like, having a country? Yes, we tried having. Did you try doing the economy though?
Right.
And giving them something we didn't think of that. Like a country that actually has something to to operate in capitalism with.
Right.
That really sets us apart. That's the game changer right there. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, and I think that's why Krakoa is so good. Mm-hmm. Until kind of I'm ready to be moving on.
Yeah, I'm ready for the next thing, but Krakoa has been a hell of a run. So I want to address McLeod's point. So here is the thing when it comes to the real world. We, as members of minority communities, it doesn't matter what level of gloves off you're at, because the ecosystem is such that bigots will always make you look as though you are the largest threat possible. The people who need to be fighting harder are people in the majority who benefit from the privileges that provides.
Yes.
Those people need to be the ones going all in, because you are protected by the system that endangers us.
Why do you think that they go so hard against these concepts like SJW mm-hmm. or virtue signaling and stuff like that? It's because those are the things that they're derogatory statements for for the people who are oppressed, sure, but like also
people who have
maybe
empathy.
Even primarily for allies.
Yeah,
and people who are just like, hey man, don't be fucking that racist. Oh, you virtue signal or whatever. It's like, because it's it's attempting to socially disincentivize, to socially shame someone just for not being a piece of shit.
Right. It is the anti-empathy movement is the cancellation of doing good for others. It's cancel culture for goodwill towards men.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant
and we should cancel losers, like fucking
no more losers. All right.
No more losers. God, stop being a loser.
In fact, let me check something real quick here. Oh, wow, thank you. Whoever the one is that subscribed, you're awesome.
Woo!
14 away from, then I'll finally be enough.
For now.
No, just enough. Forever.
Just enough. You're already enough for me, Dane.
Oh, I think some would say I'm more than enough, Dane, for them. So, yeah. If you're not subscribed, please do. 14 away, man. Then I'll be at 7,000. Then I can make a lot of money or something. I don't know what's going to happen. Who knows?
It would be nice. Yeah. So I think this is the importance of allies, whether it is an ally, and also the importance of intersectionality, because anyone who is a target of systemic violence needs to see who else is being targeted and render aid and comfort to those people. Because if you've noticed, and we've talked about it a lot on this show, of how the right wing in this country rotates through its targets, right? Another caravan will show up, another border crisis will happen, It'll be, you know, black crime. It'll be trans people. It'll be China. And that's historically true. That's, you know, the yellow peril in the first chunk of the 20th century onto like anti-cannabis panics targeting Mexican people and young people and jazz musicians who were primarily black people. Even things like the prohibition on alcohol as well. All of those panics, they rotate through them because people don't have the attention span to pay attention to one thing nonstop. They have to keep it moving.
Hey.
And hey.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but you gave me, well, I was going to jump on that, what you said.
Okay. Sure, hit it.
That's the perfect way to describe the show that I'm debuting at the end of the week.
Yay!
Because what it is what it is. Okay. And
right.
Also debuting the new Avatar here. You haven't seen that?
Fuck yeah.
Boom.
Dane Man.
Boom. All right. I mean, really, it's the same thing except a little bit more detailed mask, and then also white eyes. I thought we'd go for white eyes this time. You notice
it's the Fandom Avenger.
The lapel pin there.
I can't see what it is. But...
It's a Krakoa flower.
Oh, is it? It's just on my screen. It's a little small because I don't have the screen blown up or anything. So you're just a little guy.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll show it the actual image then. But anyway, yeah. So the other Comics Con, the thing that it has become, which was part of it was built that way, designed that way to like I wanted to let it become what it needed to become as I made the show, right? And I didn't think that it was going to be what it is now because I was short-sighted. But that's kind of the point of what Morgan was just saying. And like, so this show, looking back at the entirety of like, you know, from the announcement of the existence of X-Men 97, where it's going to really start, to, you know, the finale, and like the different takes and the different, you know, like I think that we need to start thinking about. We need to start forcing ourselves to have a longer term memory, you know, and just because. A lot of shit gets you know, skated by, you know, and we just kind of like forget about it because the news cycles and everything and the algorithms control our goddamn brains. If you think your brain's not controlled by algorithms, you're wrong.
It is.
You're wrong. I mean, like, it's very, very hard not to be the, you know, kind of just at the whim of fucking corporate algorithms at this point. And it's hard to admit. It's hard to accept about ourselves and where we're at with society. It's fucking scary. But, you know, I think that we have to start taking some of that. Got to take the power back. You know, the power, I think, is memory to some extent.
It's memory. It's knowing when to disconnect, because disconnecting is a huge, huge part of self-care and a huge part of staying in the fight. Is, you know, that there is, our mass media economy is such that it always wants your attention. Always. But that story, odds are, it's going to be there tomorrow. Odds are, if it's a breaking story, the media coverage is going to be half wrong on a good day. Sometimes you just have to like recognize that there is no value in you going all in today and getting all worked up. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But understanding that you need to take care of you first before you can help anyone else. That's absolutely what I did yesterday. Yesterday, I basically stayed off of Discord. I stayed off of Blue Sky. I went on a wonderful date with my spouse. I played Final Fantasy all day.
Hell yeah.
Because I just needed to disconnect. And I came back to it today with fresh eyes and revitalized. And that's, you need to do that. In your life, you need to go, there is nothing to be gained right now. And when the time comes for you to be all in, then you can be all in. But if you're all in all the time, you're never ready to be all in.
Yeah, I mean, like, for one thing, our minds are not designed to take in all of the information that we take in on a daily basis.
No, we have, barely evolved ape meat computers running on hormonal software.
Yeah, it seems like we're convinced that we're getting something that we either want or is necessary information a lot of times, and when it's not, we get mad at it, and it's like, that opinion goes against my opinion. I'm mad at it now, and it's like none of that matters, or that doesn't matter in particular. Like, I don't know. It's just I hope we can break free of this at some point. I made a video on this in 2020. In Westworld season 3,
I
and
think I was
like,
one of 3 people who watched that video.
yeah, that's like 4 or 5. Come on.
And the reason I remember it is because I had just started my new job, and because of my shift, I was done with like things I had to do by like 6, and then was just there kind of cleaning up messes that had sat forever the rest of the night. I'm like, oh great, cool. That Actual Context channel has like some new videos out. Great, that'll be perfect to have on when I'm cleaning this shit up.
Boom.
And that's why I remember them. And I've never seen Westworld to this day. I'm just like, oh, this will be interesting. I'll learn about this show people are talking about that I have no interest in watching.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag, that show. Definitely, it got more bold in its last couple of seasons for sure. The third one I think is the best season, but like it definitely kind of gets a little wacky. And anyway. But
Look,
that wasn't really the point of it. Was I was, the same way with the Watchmen video. I was like, oh, it's another show, and it's another prestige drama on HBO.
On HBO.
And there is a very relevant theme, that real world theme that is resonating with me like crazy, the same way that with Watchmen did. And so I figure if I make a video on this, it'll do just as well as the Watchmen video.
About that day.
Those early lessons, Those early lessons. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fucking play that video at the end of this stream.
There you go.
And just let it go. The movie is not better. I'm sorry. Michael Crichton's directing debut is not very good. It's just not.
I have a hot take.
Yes.
Michael Crichton's an overrated writer.
He's good with concepts. He's got good concepts that
he's got really neat ideas. But like, I read Timeline. Timeline's a bad book. I'm sorry.
Oof.
Timeline's such a bad book. When I heard that was getting a movie, I'm just like, are you sure?
Oh man, but guys, fuck, me and Bob got to get better about this, because I didn't realize he was streaming on Sundays again.
Oh,
he ended his stream about 100 or about 18 minutes ago.
Old Bob or Chaos Bob?
Oh, Chaos Bob.
Old Bob is here. Oh, okay. Well, fuck Chaos Bob. We've got Old Bob.
Chaos Bob. Yeah.
I mean, if Bob is streaming on Sundays are our day, Dane. He can't have that. He can't come between us that way.
Looking at man, it's kind of a.
You couldn't even rate us or anything. God, what a schlop.
Oh shit! I just found an amazing new green screen. Yes.
Ooh. Yeah, I like Blue Sky a lot.
I need to get back on there. I haven't. I kind of just keep forgetting about it. Maybe because there's no like, and this kind of goes to.
There's no drama. It's just. No drama. It's just like there. You know what? There was drama because there was some TTRPG drama in there about like some D&D people were fighting, and I'm just like eating popcorn. But
I'd not heard of that.
Yeah, well, that's probably for the best. And also, you're not really a D&D guy, so.
I mean, I could be. You
could be.
Play your cards right.
Well, D&D is not my game, so.
Oh.
I have lots of other games, though. Let me tell you something. All right, so hopes for episode 10.
Hopes for episode 10 that, yeah, are we gonna get the weirdest Wolverine? And I think I might have phrased it wrong in the title, or weirdest Wolverine arc. It's not the weirdest Wolverine arc, but it is the weirdest Wolverine. And because for anybody that's not aware of what happens in the comics after what happens at the end of episode sorry, 9. Wait,
yeah.
What is it?
9.
We were just watched. That was episode 9, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and did you ask for hopes for episode 10? What did you say?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. And what happens is his healing factor goes crazy because it can't handle that shit. That's just too much at once. Like literally, just rip the adamantium through his pores and his wounds and stuff. He kind of has a hard go of it for a couple of issues. Do you remember reading? Did you read the Wolverine? I think it's Wolverine number 50, right after X-Men number 25.
No, I was not reading Wolverine.
There is a a really cool little moment that happens in that one, and I doubt they're going to do it because it's such a Logan centric kind of thing. But maybe they'll do it in this.
I mean, this show has really, like, compared to the first series, really like toned down the Wolverine. Like, he is not.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I love it. As someone who fucking loves Wolverine, I love it because
it's just the right amount of Wolverine.
He doesn't need to be the goddamn center of everything. He doesn't need to be the main character. You know, and it also, like, they reserved him, and that means that, like the fight scene when they finally let him off the chain in the previous episode. Oh my god, I was so ready for it.
Can I just say though, with episode 9, okay, like Chuck, Cyclops, bring it in. Bring it in. Come here. Hi, I'm Morgan. I'm in charge of the X-Men now. As you can see, I'm the unremarkable X-Man. Why? Okay, you're gonna fight Magneto, the master of magnetism.
Yeah.
Why'd you send the Tin Man?
Well, because, like, you know, what I used to wonder that, like, but in the comics, it kind of becomes clear that in because I think it's in X-Men number 2 or 3 of that relaunch in the early 90s, where you really see Wolverine for the first time decide that he's gonna go for trying to kill this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, up until that point, it's almost like they just kind of been sparring in a way. Like, both of them, they both had this kind of like unstated kind of like line that they weren't going to cross with each other. Right. Like, it's always been there. Like, the idea of what one could do to the other is pretty clear, you know? But like they weren't going to do it. And then at some point, Wolverine, it's after I think they turned out like Professor X and stuff into like statues, him and the acolytes or whatever. I don't know. And Wolverine, you know, takes a swipe at him and fucking kind of gets a good gash in his belly.
And this one, he runs him through the back. You get the claws out the front.
Is that when it was?
In this episode, yeah.
I was talking about the comic.
Oh, in the comic, yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of comparing what happens in that to like how this is kind of inspired by several moments in the comics, actually. Because you could even say Ultimate X-Men kind of plays a role in this one a little bit.
For sure.
Because he definitely comes up on him and with surprise, and you know, there's a bit of a couple of the beats that happen within all that they come from different spots. But anyway, it's it's just that's how you know shit has gone far off the rails. Whenever it's like, okay, both of these guys are doing the thing that they never would have done to each other before, even when they were enemies before. It's like Magneto's fucking lost it. Wolverine's lost it because Magneto's lost it and hurt a bunch of people, and he's not fucking putting up with it.
No.
And that's kind of just goes to show Wolverine's state of mind too, right? Like, he's
right. He's had it.
He's going a little crazy because he's a animal for justice, you know.
He really is.
And when he 2 times in the episode prior to the thing happening, does he indicate that that's probably what's going to happen? Because like right at the beginning when he's like, "Oh, I see we go," he pops his claws and it's like,
he's ready to roll.
Oh no, Wolverine, what are you doing? And like when Rogue comes in and grabs him at first and says, "You're playing to kill," you know, that kind of reminded me more of Ultimate X-Men because like at that Jean says to Cyclops in that like, "Oh, I'm in Logan's head. It's all written terribly because Jeff Loeb wrote it, but he's like, I'm in Logan's head and he's fighting to kill." You know, he's never been like this before or whatever. And
it really like it just surprised me. Like I as soon as like, oh, Wolverine's going to space, I'm just like, oh, I know where we're going. Oh, we're going there. We're gonna get Bone Claws.
Yeah, Bone Claws for sure.
Also, I love the classic outfits. We just talk about that for a second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really cool. They went backwards in the outfits.
Right, they got the 80s outfits. I fucking love them. I'm so glad to be rid of the blue jean gray outfit from the night. I'm so glad. I'm just like, oh, get out of here. To help with
that one's just so unremarkable and,
it's just
uninspired. Yeah,
just not a fan. So I'm glad to see it gone. I love the black rogue or the black storm costume. Rogues, like I associate Rogue's costume with Uncanny Avengers.
it kind of is. It looks more like what she originally wore,
right?
Though, which is that's what the Uncanny Avengers is designed to look like. Too,
yeah.
So, yeah.
I just really like Uncanny Avengers. Okay.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in there for sure. Good stuff. Here's the green screen that I just downloaded. Oh, wait, what?
Green screen.
Oh no, it wouldn't upload. Too short. It's okay. So it's Magneto saying "shut up." We'll expect to see that pretty soon.
Shut up. Like Magneto was wrong this whole episode, except there. I'm just
right
like,
there.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like he's right in everything except that like nothing he's saying matters because he no longer has any control over, there's nothing. Whatever happens is going to be happening out of revenge and anger at him and stuff like that. So here's the question.
And we know Bastion was fucking with him, right? So like he's been tortured and shit.
We know that
he's out of his gourd.
We're getting bone claws for sure, but are we going to get like it looked like he was starting to do it this episode? But do you think that Professor X is going to go all the way?
Yeah,
and if so, does that bring us?
Yeah,
Onslaught.
It brings us the second worst X-Men villain ever. Yeah,
I couldn't wait to ask you about that.
I know we're going there. I know it. Maybe not. Like I think we're gonna get like he's gonna do the thing to Magneto.
Yeah.
And then like season 2 is gonna build towards Onslaught.
So I guess the thing with Onslaught for me is like, what's the point in this show? I don't know that it has a point, right? Like
because there's no other like. I mean, maybe that's why they're cameoing all these other superheroes, so like we can have that big like Secret Wars moment where like they bring the X-Men and Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four into one show for a couple episodes and do a secret war.
And then let fucking Rob Liefeld draw them or something. What?
No. No.
God, because that's what they did. If anybody's not aware of what how desperate Marvel was back then, and with the Onslaught saga, you had, at that time you had Fabian Nicieza doing a pretty fucking solid job generally.
Yeah.
Some of the art wasn't always very serviceable to his stories, but he was doing, following up Claremont's wasn't going to be easy, but he was doing it. Him and then Scott Lobdell as well, doing okay, doing pretty good stuff. And then because the sales were just not what they were at all, they were like cratering pretty hard. Not anything to do with the quality of the writing for sure.
No. But you're talking about the end of the comics bubble bursting.
Yeah.
I think just like while X-Men was still very good, I think Avengers at the time was not anything to write home about. I mean, we're talking about Clone Saga, Spider-Man.
God, no, Clone Saga, Spider-Man, and then like goddamn Sins Past too. Comics Tropes has a new video out on Sins Past. If you haven't seen that,
yeah.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ!
That's the Gwen Stacy gave birth to Norman Osborn's twins thing.
Yes, and they aged quickly, so because of the spiders come or whatever,
right?
Or because of the Goblin come.
Yeah.
Because apparently Gwen Stacy was Goblin come. Anyway, yeah, and then Spider-Man fights them because they're 5-year-old adults.
They're 5-year-old adults. Yep.
And then apparently, I haven't read it, but in the follow-up to that, because there is one called Sins Remembered. And ironically, I don't think anybody remembers it, but
I know
Comic Tropes talks about it, and apparently Peter and what's her name, Gwen Stacy's daughter, kind of have some level of romance in that, and it's like, Peter, she's 5 years old, bro. What are you doing? But go watch the Comic Tropes. If you're not subscribed to Comic Tropes for some reason, what are you doing with your life?
They're at this show. They're subscribed to this wonderful channel, Dane. Don't ask them why they're not over there. They're here, having a wonderful time, forgetting what you just said.
I understand that I'm not always a nice guy. Chris is he's the nicest guy in comics YouTube, I think.
Counterpoint. He told us about that story arc, Dane, which is not nice. I don't want to know that was in a comic book, Dane.
Look,
no, don't.
28 people watching right now. If you're not subscribed, guys, please
subscribe.
We can get it there. Let's get it there. I want to come back tomorrow and do a celebratory impromptu stream and be like, look, 7K, bitches.
Woo!
So help me out.
Yeah, Screwface, like, Secret Empire was not as bad as I remembered it on the reread. The tie-ins were not great.
Yeah.
But tie-ins never are. Like,
say what you want about Nick Spencer. That dude put in a lot of work in his run on Spider-Man to retcon that shit. He laid so much groundwork and spent so much narrative real estate on creating, as plausible as you can get a scenario within a Spider-Man comic that takes that shit out of canon.
And now it doesn't smell like Clorox anymore. I wouldn't say I love Secret Empire. I like it.
I love the concept of Secret Empire. I love what Secret Empire was saying, and I love how. Well, I don't love. I wish that people would have. One, I wish it was done better a little bit, and then I wish it was. I wish that the art was consistent.
Yeah, the art.
And I wish that people had taken the right freak out from it instead of the freak out that they did, which was like, "Oh, they made Captain America a Nazi." It's like, no. He's trying to tell us Nazis or America is becoming Nazis. Like, that's just pay attention. Yeah.
Well, and also like that whole era of Marvel was just suffering anyways. Like that is the Inhumans era of Marvel, and I think we can all agree fundamental mistakes were made.
Yeah.
That like
goated. I don't know about that.
Yeah, PR. I think you're wrong. I think it's fine. I think it's good.
It's also one of its worst. You know what this is making me realize is that a lot of events are both amazing and awful. And it's, when you really think about it, there's very few that like are just flat out bad, right? In my opinion, and there's only a couple that are just like, that's an excellent event. Yeah, because usually
Flashpoint is just bad.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Flashpoint is just awful. Like if Flashpoint reset into just the pre-New 52 DC universe, just the post-crisis universe, it still would have been bad.
My boy, who I was thinking about bringing on to talk about X-Men tonight, but like he hasn't seen the most recent episode, so
we don't want to spoil that.
I gave him my Marvel Encyclopedia book, and he's been just reading it and stuff, and he was like asking yesterday, he was like, "Do you know about the time that Wolverine had stabbed another Wolverine in the back?" And it was like I was like, what story was it? I said, was it a robot? What was the talk? What was the story? And he goes and gets it, and he goes, okay, so it was in Age of Ultron. I was like, oh no.
Child, no. Dane, be a better parent and keep the kid away from Age of Ultron.
I have to guide him when he's reading that because he could end up reading about Age of Ultron without guidance,
Came the dawn. I don't just not like Flashpoint. I think it's maybe the worst DC event I've ever read.
Yikes. I mean, it's been a long time since I read it. I remember liking some of the concepts in it, but that doesn't mean it's a good story. So, like, I like the idea of the Thomas Wayne Batman.
Yeah, like I think it's one of those things.
Like they overuse fucking everything.
Everything. I think it's one of those units. If it had just been an Elseworld story, like just for like a couple of months, every book was going to be this Elseworlds version of a different universe where it was a world without the Flash. As you're like, you're the thing it hangs on is like, what if there was no Flash? Okay, sure. But like, or even just like those things, but like, because it doesn't even make sense like how not having the Flash caused all of those things because he's not that old. Because like, obviously, Bruce Wayne dying and not Thomas and Martha happened well before the Flash was a anybody.
You know what? I forgot that I needed to do. I covered the Ultimate Universe, the original one, a couple of weeks ago. Talked about it in a stream on a Saturday. And I'd promised that the next one was going to be New 52. And what went wrong there and everything, because there is an article about it that is pretty hefty. Let's see.
The New 52, and some of the New 52 books were pretty good. I think Action Comics was very good. I think the Batman stuff was pretty good. I think Green Lantern continued to be as good as it was. I think Justice League was interesting. I think it's like a different take on like a Justice League origin story. And making Apocalypse kind of the big bad of the DCU for a while was interesting. But it was so ambitious. I think it was kind of doomed to fail.
Yeah, well, I mean, and also it's not just that. It's also that you gotta have a plan for something like this, man. And if we were to dive into this article, which what my plan is whenever I do cover this, you realize just how utterly unprepared to do this massive fucking thing they were. Even despite the fact that they've been wanting to do something like it for a long time. And then they gave it plenty of lead up, and then they did it, and it's just like, yeah. So in this quite lengthy article, they talked to a few different people. There was also a few who didn't want to talk because they're like, look, that was a traumatic period. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Oh, I'm sure.
How do I feel about Watchmen? You should go back and watch my Watchmen video. There you'll hear all of my Watchmen thoughts.
As someone who doesn't have a Watchmen video, I think Watchmen the comic is a very interesting story and a very interesting take on a superhero story. I do not think it is a good superhero story.
No.
Weirdly enough.
But I don't think it's meant to be a good superhero.
I don't think it is. No, I think it is very much its own thing. And I think it's good, even though it's not my favorite. I think that it being
hold on a second here, real quick. I gotta nip this in the bud.
Oh sure.
So, Came to Dawn. You just as a let you know, because I know you're new around here and stuff. Like, this is a form of gatekeeping in a way. Like, I mean, it's okay to express surprise, but like, you know, you've kind of done it a couple of times now, and just, you know, not everybody's gonna like the same things you like. You know.
And I don't hate it. I like it.
We try to be allowing of people's different experiences and perspectives around here. It's pretty important, actually. So
I just don't think it's the best thing ever. I don't even think it's my favorite Alan Moore work. It's probably V for Vendetta, or his Green Lantern stuff.
That's true. That it didn't really get like folded in.
There was just a crossover.
I mean, however, Superman did meet Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
And like, that's what Doomsday Clock was about. A video idea I had at one point to kind of go back to that Watchmen is comparing the two sequels in like the directions they took, the HBO show
and the comics.
Doomsday Clock.
Yeah.
Kind of like, well, you know, this is two different creative teams.
Interesting,
very different things. You know,
very, very different. The only good thing I have to say about Doomsday Clock is it brought back the original Alan Scott, and like, as someone who like grew up on their grandpa's old Captain Marvel and Green Lantern comics and stuff that were just like in a box underneath an entertainment center, I was very happy to see Alan Scott back.
Yeah.
And that they adjusted his backstory to be gay, I also liked.
Yeah, everybody likes that.
Well, so often we have like queer characters who are like, I'm going to use a word that I hate, or words that I hate, young and hip, right? Like they're supposed to be like
Oh yeah,
for the kids almost, and like to have an adult character who comes out in his senior years. That's a very real story.
Yeah,
and to do that with one of the original Golden Age heroes is really cool.
Counterpoint. How come he wasn't ever gay before?
Because sometimes people don't figure that out until they're
It's like
older.
what they did with Iceman. You know, they ruined his character. You know,
What was ruined about his character? Critical thinking or whatever your name is. But yeah, like, and it's fine to have like new characters who are queer, but to have a coming out story for an older character, which is a very real experience people have had, is cool. And for it to be a character that I have an attachment to is also very cool. But other than that, like, I could take the Doomsday Clock stuff or leave it. Like,
it's not fucking funny, you know. Like, it's just not.
I don't know anything about Valiant, so I'm missing the reference.
It's not funny, not clever, not okay.
All right, moving on. So, all right. Anywho.
Yeah, I'll tell you later, I guess.
Okay, you'll fill me in later. All right. So, what are people's thoughts who have been watching X-Men 97 about what's coming on Wednesday besides tears?
Yeah, let's see. I'm going to pull up a couple of images. They're in the thumbnail kind of, but like just to get a good look and see, you know, maybe we'll get some of this. Oh by the way, oh my god. Okay, I got a couple things I wanted to mention. One being that editing my further adventures of conversing with Pillar of Garbage that I still have to edit some more of. He brought up a book as I was talking about, you know, my appreciation for X-Men and comics in general and stuff, and he's like, "There's this book," and I'm like, "Yep, I read that book." I would recommend this to anybody, really. The New Mutants, Superheroes, and the Radical Imagination of American Comics.
Ooh.
It is excellent. It is about just what it says, that like essentially that post World War II superheroes were, you know, basically like Silver Age but especially kind of Bronze and beyond, are intrinsically, you know, progressive, queer, leftist, you know, content, to deviate from their original kind of meanings and like the way they were presented and stuff is to break away from that. And it makes a really strong case for that. So I should really make some content based on this, because I know that Pillar of Garbage is his last video in his 3-video series on woke X-Men stuff was what he used this book for that. But
nice.
Let's see. And then you get this, but I mean, you can talk. You don't have to wait on me to pull up an image to talk.
Oh, sure. So I think for me, one of the things I am hoping to see is, can we just be rid of Mr. Sinister for a while?
Yeah, he's kind of been, yeah.
Because like when I went back and watched some of the stuff from the original X-Men 92, oh, I love the caveman Wolverine. It's so cheesy.
God, he looks like shit. Like
he looks like absolute trash.
Just having a rough go of it, guys. He's having a fucking hard time.
he's having a rough day. Woof, and the fucking like the jaw out to fucking, you know, the next zip code. Oh, it's so bad.
I mean, I don't really. What's the what is the premises was basically because I'll be honest, I have not really read more than a couple of comics with this version of Wolverine in it. I really haven't. Like that's really my dead zone of X-Men history is after.
It looks like it should stay that way.
I mean, this was like definitely they were going the Joe Mad, designs and like just like when you feel like you're the character that invented edgy superhero, which is it's Wolverine, isn't edgy enough, and you've got to like edge him up even more. You're kind of going too far. You're off the rails,
And you didn't have. I'm sorry, you didn't have to.
He was perfect the way he was, guys.
We don't hate Bubs often on this podcast, but this is a very hateable Bub style.
I don't have a pull list. Yeah, I mean, I can't really afford one. That would imply that I have a set amount of money that I could definitely afford for comics each week, and I can't do that. I have to kind of like see what I can get as comics come out, and that over time that has led me to trade weight quite a bit. Or there's like I say there's probably 6 titles that I read every month, for sure.
I would say it's about 4 or 5 for me, and then everything else I just wait for Marvel Unlimited to have it. It's about 2-3 months behind on everything, but it's everything. So like I can wait for Blood Hunt to end and then just read all of Blood Hunt. Like I picked up issue 1. It was fine. It's not my speed, but I'm like, we'll give it a shot.
I mean,
and
also
interesting. But
I do read a lot of old stuff too. Like I go like I'm always getting like cheap ass trades on Kindle and shit, and just burning through some old shit, filling in the gaps. You know what I mean? Which I guess I really need to do with this at some point. Maybe I don't know. Don't need to, but
I would say I don't get to the shop as much as I would like to, but also I don't have the space for.
True. Yeah.
Like sometimes it's a space issue for me. Like it's just like I would love to downsize as it is.
Yeah, the soft pack trade papers are the way to go. I mean,
every time that fucking gets me. Every single time I just fucking die.
Yep. I mean, I can show you what books I got. You know what I mean? Like I bought. I've been filling in my my Miles gaps.
Nice.
My Miles Morales gaps. Was it I forget his name. Saladin, is that his name?
Oh, the writer. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm not following any Spider books. I actually haven't read an actual Spider-Man comic since the original Spider-Verse.
Well, okay, so I have been actually reading some. I've been reading the goddamn Zeb Wells stuff because I wanted to see if it's bad as everybody makes it out to be.
Is it as bad as everyone else makes it out to be?
No.
Oh, is it
what
bad?
What it is it's just not anything super new to me. Like it's like okay, yeah, all right. But then also, the reason that I think most people are mad is they're just tired of this kind of static nature of it, and like they want him back with Mary Jane. They want him, and there is definitely a subplot going on that is somehow I haven't gotten too far into this yet. I think I've read something that it's kind of crazy what's really going on, but like,
oh sure,
it's essentially almost like Zeb Wells is fucking teasing them. I
have to correct myself. I am reading a Spider-Man book, and if you want a Spider-Man book wherein Spider-Man and Mary Jane are a couple, and in fact married, check out Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yes,
because it's very good.
So here's what I got right here. What's it? I'm on this third trade, which is just dark web. Really, I've already read that, so I'll be done with that pretty quick.
Lots of Holy Rolla.
I never read this era of this Ultimate Comic Spider-Man. That's fun. Yeah, all the Holy Rollers. You just get dang old Hickman Avengers. I'm reading again because that's just really good comics. Got the free comic book day. Conan. They got that. And then you got, of course, your dang old free comic book day books. Mm-hmm. Finally read Miles in this costume. Why he got that? It's pretty cool. Yeah. I obviously have been going back through Ultimate Spider-Man because it's good.
It's very good. I think I'm only on 3 is the one where he meets Green Goblin.
I've got a bunch of Batman stuff here. Hadn't read that. I'll try that out. I got this thinking I hadn't read it before, but apparently I have. So cool. Or no reason for me to have that.
Alrighty.
Thankfully, I didn't pay for it. As you see here, Comics
Unlimited.
Yep. Got the only trade of Jason Aaron's Avengers that I hadn't read or owned before now. Read some Blade, got this Black Panther Doom War, tried some of this out. It was pretty all right.
Yeah, High Republic is interesting. I haven't read the comics as much as I have the novels, but I've enjoyed the novels I've read.
No, you don't need to apologize, man. I like talking about comics, and if people want to know my, what I'm reading, and that's cool. Now you know what I'm into. Man, I just went through this phase of like checking out the Ultimate Universe. That was interesting. Oh, I gotta read this. I haven't read that yet. Clive Barker's Nightbreed.
Ooh, interesting.
Just generally checking shit out. Here's that wacky Paul Reiser what if aliens.
The Roxxon Thor book is crazy.
You read it?
Yeah. It's fucking bananas.
Yeah, it's that's the kind of shit that makes comics great to me. I mean, lots of stuff does, but like just every once in a while, something that's just that fucking I don't know, wacky, but also kind of necessary.
And punches. Like it's so wacky and zany. You don't realize that it's just like holding you by the throat, punching you in the chest over and over, and you're like, oh, it hurts.
You know what I haven't talked about? I don't even think I've told you really that I've been reading this stuff. Duke Transformers.
Oh, yeah. See, I got the free comic day for the Energonverse stuff, and I'm like, I have to check this shit out.
It's it's pretty cool. Like this Duke story is really interesting because reading the Transformers book, I think it's this issue, yeah, because you see how Starscream is kind of coming at this jet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in it, the pilot I think dies, but the co-pilot survives just barely in this encounter with Starscream. And then you go and read Duke #1, and you realize that co-pilot was Duke.
Okay.
And this is an alternate timeline where literally this is a divergent Duke who's he's seen this thing, and they're trying to make him believe he didn't see this thing. And he's like kind of goes rogue to be like, no, fuck you, I fucking saw that thing. Like he's gonna try and figure out what it is and stuff, and it's like that's a good setup. That is really good.
Shit, that's cool. I don't even I have I know Duke's a G.I. Joe character, but I've never watched G.I. Joe. I have no knowledge of G.I. Joe.
He's not really anything, I mean, the most characterization you might get is in the G.I. Joe movie. Other than that, it's not a real character. I mean, I'll take that back. I haven't read any of the G.I. Joe stuff that Larry Hama wrote. I'm sure those old comics have plenty of good characterization in them, but that's as much as I've known about Duke.
Okay, because I know in the IDW stuff they would have some of the G.I. Joe characters around, and I'm just like, I cannot follow what's going on here. I'm just fucking lost.
Oh damn! I forgot I got these too. Sorry, looking back, I got these like a month or so ago and forgot to read Rising Shaw.
Ooh, that's a classic.
Brubaker X-Men.
Yeah, that's some good shit.
Avengers Twilight's very good. I recommend it.
Yeah, I've heard you mention it before. It's just on my unlimited list.
And this is so a lot of this is filling in gaps and then trying out stuff that I maybe like. This was really good. This trade, I'm gonna get in maybe the next one. I don't know. I'm obviously much less likely to buy or get DC stuff.
Yeah.
Generally because
I've been reading the most recent Green Lantern arc, and it's pretty interesting. Basically the Guardians are no longer in charge of the Green Lanterns. It's this like Galactic Federation thing.
Oh.
But you find out that they have been knocking off the other Lantern Corps. And creating hybrid lanterns.
Ooh.
And they've got Sinestro and Hal were stuck on Earth, and now they found that the Guardians created a backup system on Earth that what's his name, the one sane Guardian, Gaffet, or I think is his name.
Janthit?
Yeah, Ganthit. Thank you.
Yeah.
Had created a backup system and made Hal's old like human like his mechanic, like the guardian of this backup system.
Oh.
That has created rings for all of the Earth Lanterns, and so Hal has one of those, and now he can leave Earth to go try and meet up with the other human Green Lanterns and give them new rings and get them out from under, because this Federation has been trying to bump off the human Lanterns, and like they think Joe is like working for them, but they're still planning on like betraying her, and she knows that and they know that, but like they're all kind of pretending to get along while they're plotting their double cross. And like Guy Gardner is off trying to find somebody, and so it's been like this really like weird like, because like the hybrid lanterns don't seem, they know they're hybrid lanterns until like something triggers them.
Huh. Wow.
So it's been a really wild run.
I want to try and sell you guys on two books here real quick that
All
don't get talked about. One of them is by Al Ewing. It's called "We Only Find Them When They're Dead."
Ooh, that's an interesting title.
It's an interesting story by Simone DiMeo, who has done some work on Batman lately, more recently. Wait, what? What do you? You're not banned. You're clearly talking right here.
Yeah, I haven't gone over the. If so, I know you're new here on Sundays. If someone is going to be banned, normally there will be a warning, and then I will joke about your demise.
Yeah. Make some kind of joke about Thor or something like that.
Right, like I've got some stock jokes I make about the people, I banish you to the Shadow Realm, or I hit you with Mjolnir, or whatever, like excommunicate you in the name of the Emperor. We have all sorts of things. You are not banned, so I don't know if it's YouTube chat being YouTube chat or what, but like you're cool.
So We Only Find Them When They're Dead takes place in the future, and it is kind of crazy. It's Al Ewing special for sure. In it, okay, so when the story begins, you're in the future where the status quo as we find it is just that the economy of basically the what's left of Earth and whatever galactic thing, intergalactic planet system they've been, whatever exists. And I say whatever because it kind of doesn't matter, because this thing does skip forward hundreds of years a couple of times.
Fun.
Yeah, so it's a big picture thing for sure. And it essentially that you follow some ships, primarily one ship it's a crew of people, like a small crew, and they're going to mine for a substance that is the most prized substance in the universe. Substance being the parts of the corpse of a dead god.
Oh, that's cool.
Just is floating in space, and it's like this physical being. They're all different, it's like they don't know where they're coming from. They just they only find them when they're dead. You don't see them when they're alive. And so like that's kind of just what the fucking premise is. And then like, but then certain things happen, and it's just it's heady. It's kind of one of those like, holy shit, what the fuck kind of things.
That's
like
fucking cool.
One big event will happen per issue or every 2 issues, and it just like really kind of changes the table completely almost. And you definitely change characters through the different trades. There's 3 trades total, and it is a complete story. And it's wacky. It's good. It's cool stuff. So yeah, they loot it because it's just a dead thing floating around in space, right? The art is not like my favorite kind of art, but it is really cool anyway. It's still like
I like it. It's my kind of art. Fuck, yeah, I want to pick it up when I'm done here.
Downright gorgeous, like cool stuff.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's beautiful.
Some really interesting characters that you meet along the way. People doing things for different reasons. You got kind of like political intrigue in some ways because you got this is the economy is these god corpses, right? Like,
oh, that's so cool.
Because they can take them and they make they make this thing that powers the ships so they can go like, deep space comes from that, medicine, basically all the cool shit comes from the corpses of these dead gods.
That's so cool.
And then
that's like right up my fucking alley.
Very much that, yes. High concept sci-fi.
Speaking of sci-fi, have you started this season of Discovery yet?
Yes, he finished it. It's finished. It's great. It's all out. It's a complete story.
So it's complete. Okay,
available now. It's yeah.
What was it called again?
Boom Studios, I believe. We only find them when they're dead.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
And then the other one I was going to mention, because I don't see it getting talked about. I see Avengers Twilight getting talked about now and then. But not this other Avengers thing that has been coming out lately. And I didn't even know it was a thing until it was. So it's like two arcs that comprise this thing. The first one is called. What's it called here? Avengers Beyond, I think, or fuck. Where is it at? Yeah, Avengers Beyond. Oh no, okay. So the first one was called All Out Avengers.
Okay.
And it's by Derek something or another, and then Greg Land does a good bit of it. And this is where I realized that Greg Land is not terrible anymore. As terrible. Oh. He's still apparently doing some tracing of his own work here and there.
Well,
past, but like he's not doing the faces that are just like obviously some face from some famous person.
Right.
I mean, he did the Wolverine versus Predator book, and it's like pretty damn good, pretty damn good. So I think he probably heard some of the jokes that have been made for years now.
Yeah, that's a recurring.
And unlike Rob Liefeld, who just refuses to get better.
Rob's old and he's got royalties. He doesn't have to get better.
So All Out Avengers is really cool because it just kind of, it's a good title for it because it just starts and it never lets up. They're just dealing with all this crazy shit from moment one, and it just really doesn't stop. Bunch of cool moments. Avengers fighting Avengers, and you got, like this is Greg Land right here. Like that's not awful.
No, that's workman's art.
Yeah. Some really cool Spider-Man stuff. There's a whole like issue or two where Spider-Man is being like basically he's trying to make something happen that they don't want him to do because they've been influenced by something and they're not seeing reality correctly, and it's basically Spider-Man versus the Avengers, and it's just kind of crazy how far he can get with them. Like you remember that Spider-Man is truly a badass when he wants to be.
Yes, he is.
Okay, so I don't want to spoil it, but the title of the second trade kind of does spoil it because this whole thing is just them dealing with these crazy scenarios, and each issue kind of starts with them in the middle of the scenario, and it doesn't give you the context of what's going on, right? And it's like at first you're like, what the fuck is this book? This is terrible. And then you realize, no, this is part of it. Is they don't even know. They're like, wait, how did we get here? Why are we all this crazy shit's going on?
Yeah,
we're trying to stop them. What? And so something is influencing them. And the title of the second arc kind of gives it away, which is Avengers Beyond. Yeah. So a little Beyonder stuff going on. And
that'll do it.
He needs some help because there's something that's pretty worse than him. And so he basically has enlisted the Avengers. He tried to do it against their will, which is what was going on the whole first time. Anyway, it was generally pretty good. It's like a complete story. Those two trades, I guess.
Nice.
Fun. Just it's kind of what you want from an Avengers book, I guess. That's it. Boom.
I think we're both looking forward to Exceptional X-Men. That's the Emma Frost and Kate Pride book.
I mean, I'm not really looking forward to mediocre X-Men. I'll say that.
I think every X-Men is exceptional.
Yeah, they're all special in their own way.
Yeah, PR has some thoughts on Rob Liefeld and who created Deadpool, and his thoughts are correct.
His thoughts are right.
His thoughts are right.
It's like, it's, you know, that's why I like that. Like, I don't have any problem with him being so all about Deadpool, because like he gets it. He likes the Deadpool for the right reasons,
right? Mm-hmm.
And he gets Deadpool, and then he also, look, this is me gatekeeping here. I shouldn't be doing that, but you know, basically what Gail Simone wrote about Deadpool on Twitter recently was, yeah, that's how it should be seen, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Did you read that?
I have not, but I believe that Gail says true things. So, the only thing I have as far as a disagreement with PR and I is that the book is called Cable and Deadpool. I know Marvel has rebranded the trades to Deadpool and Cable because now Deadpool is more popular than Cable was, but Fabian Nicieza still calls it Cable and Deadpool, so I'm going to still call it Cable and Deadpool.
Fair.
That's his book. He wrote it. He can call it what he wants.
Fair enough. What else did we have? Did we FAP everything?
I think we FAP. I did want to ask if you had started Discovery yet.
Oh, I did start it. I didn't continue on with it yet because it just honestly hadn't grabbed me too much.
That's fair. It's the first episode is fine. The second episode, I think, is where it started to grab me.
Well, I mean, I think I've watched two. So the last one I watched was where they went to her and Saru went to the whatever planet in the old thing that they found, a
burial, like the old
and
the
there's like the weapon system that was still active. And then, you know, it's good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like I don't know. Maybe I've just been kind of busy and easily distracted too. And
that's fair. I don't think it grabbed me. It hasn't grabbed me as much as season 4 did.
Right. That one really grabbed me. I love that shit. Good stuff. I asked Mark Brooks a question about his Disney-fied X-Men's characters, and he answered. That was pretty cool.
That's neat.
Because I was looking at him and I was like, realizing that each one I look at kind of calls to memory a Disney character. You know, like
really?
One. I was like, wait, this one's clearly like Gaston or something. You know what I mean? But I'm not super well versed in Disney characters, so I asked him.
I don't know.
I think he's done like 40 something now. Done one every day for over a month, and he said he asked him, so like, is every one that you do inspired by a specific Disney character, or just like what's the deal? He said almost, but not all of them. Some of them he just does from his own brain.
Sure.
Cool. Cool, man.
Yeah, I never noticed that 'cause I don't really know Disney characters that well. Like, it's never been my thing.
Oh, can I tell you something fucking hilarious about Fandom Pulse before we get out of here?
Sure. We can dunk on Fandom Pulse before we bail.
Well, gives us a nice episode sandwich, because you remember talking about Holy Roller. This is how it came. This is how it came onto my radar, because I was working on my X-Men video and the Melanie Mac portion of it and stuff, and my girlfriend got kind of like, oh, what's her fucking deal? Kind of interested in like morbidly curious, and she looked her up and found a Fandom Pulse article.
No.
And from there she saw where it was saying something like, something about Andy Samberg and blah blah and Proud Boys. And she looks at it, she's like, have you heard of this book called Holy Roller or whatever? I was like, no. And she's like, it's by Andy Samberg and the guy from Fallout Boy and Rick Remender. And I'm like, wait, what did you just say?
What was that last one? Same reaction I had. I'm just
what was all three of those? Like, what is this? Are you making shit up right now? No, but and I look into it, and Fandom Pulse actually did an article complaining that the book is targeting Proud Boys and MAGA people. It's like it explicitly calls them neo-Nazis and shit. You know?
Oh, so that's a good book then, right? Okay, yeah, I'm sure.
Well,
fandom policies.
they're outing themselves. They're like, no, it says they're Nazis. You guys aren't Nazis, right?
Are you
You're not
Nazis?
Nazis, are you? No, you're always saying how you're not Nazis. So what are you getting upset about? Anyway.
Wait, have you been Nazis this whole time,
God
John?
damn it. I believed you when you said you weren't.
So much. No, you're full of shit, John. Fuck you.
Curses foiled again.
Just fucking, you know what? That guy, this is a petty reason to be on that fucker. But like, because to me, he's just like fucking grifter number 324. He can take a number.
True.
But like his fucking shit with that comic store during Free Comic Book Week, I'm just like, no, fuck you. Like you're like a bigger piece of shit to me now.
Yep. Well, I mean, we've gotten some good feedback on that video at least, and
people cool.
do recognize that was a very lame thing to do. But guess what? He does lame shit every day of his life.
He's a lame fucker. It's all he's got.
True. Anyway, so this week, what do we got this week? Don't really know, I guess.
Well,
we got to figure it out.
I know what we've got going on next Sunday. I think we're starting Ronnie.
Oh, wait.
It's time for the Gipper.
Yes, we're doing the Gipper. Great. Yay.
We're fapping the Gipper.
So as far as the other Comic Con, there is going to be a watch party kind of thing, and like an after party for folks that are following me on Patreon and supporters. And then if you can't like afford to support me, and you still would you think that I would want you to be there. How about that? Like instead of just I'm not going to just let anybody I've never heard of join, but like if you're like, yeah, I've been in chat before, you can email me and let me know. And I'll want to get emails from people so that I can send out those emails for that stream. That's the way that YouTube chooses to do it, where like for private streams.
Yeah.
So I'll need to get emails. If you follow me on Patreon, I should have your email. If it's a different email that you use for YouTube than what is on Patreon, then you'll need to let me know that and what that email is. So we'll be watching. We can watch the thing together when it premieres. We can hang out afterwards and just do lots of drugs.
What?
Do lots of dergs.
Dergs.
Nope, no dergs, but
no derg free.
Fun.
All right.
I kind of just want to get everybody's a view of how the show goes and whether it comes off like I'm hoping it does, and yeah.
I'm looking
and Morgan,
forward
you're
to it.
invited too.
Oh yay, me, little old me. Depends on when it is and when I'm around. You know me, always busy.
Well, yeah, true. Yeah, you got stuff to do. I get it. I got a couple of memes here.
Ooh, memes. I do like memes. We can end on some memes.
Okay, so here's this one. Whoops. Yeah, all right, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, we are the X-Men. Does anyone know why we're called that? Anyone? Because Charlie Boy didn't want to call us the seamen.
That's a classic.
Oh god damn it.
That's an older meme, but it checks out.
It's an older meme that checks out. I had a meme here about it was about this fucking dude who he's like a shithead troll and he knows that nobody likes him, but he goes to places where he knows that people aren't gonna want him there anyway, and he just says he doesn't even try. He just says really lame, dumb shit, trying to get a reaction. Where's that meme? Oh, it's in chat right now. Sorry. Where else do I have a thing here? Yeah, I guess that's all I really had.
All right, that's fine. We can end. Yeah.
We can end it. Oh, wait. Oh, I do have
We have more,
an
but we have
AI
more.
movie trailer.
Oh,
Movie
no.
trailer made by AI.
I've been
Guys,
avoiding this.
Look, they've been warning us. We've enjoy, I guess movies made by humans while you can, because how are they going to compete with this? It's wow. And on this note, we shall exit the building. I hope you have a good week. Stay tuned for exactly when the video is going to drop. It's going to be after Wednesday, obviously. I got to add in the coverage of the actual episode, the final episode. But
So sometime Friday, there will be an after show. There may be a special guest host bringing the house down. Lowering the quality of
I might just do that. I might just aim for releasing the video like Friday during the day or something, or in the afternoon, and then just immediately doing a stream after.
Oh, cool.
We'll see. We'll see
So if I'm around.
Friday is probably most likely going to be the day of action. Keep your eyes peeled. If you are not subscribed, I wish you would, because
subscribe.
Once again, let me maybe do a check. Maybe I got lucky. Maybe they did it. Maybe
also, you can follow Dane on patreon.com/actualfandom for free.
True.
Or you could give Dane your hard-earned money to help him do the thing. Got one more. 13,
folks. 13. I believe in you, and you believe in me. We believe in each other. We're a happy family. Take care. Here is this thing. Enjoy it.
So long,
Love
and
you.
thanks for all the fish.
So, Claire, what's your stop?
The City of Lights. I'm hoping it's a new start.
I don't think we have to pray for longer.
Maybe you're the dark, mysterious kind of man who never shows his vulnerability.
Got a feeling that the wait is over.
Maybe you're the kind of woman who's never sure of what you want, even if it's right in front of you.
From all of the hardship, I know that our wheels hit. Darling, this is where you make it.
In life's journey,
There's quite a lot of taking.
sometimes the heart moves too fast.
No, wait, don't go.
Sometimes too slow. But if you time it just right, that's when love arrives.
Claire!
I thought you gave up on me.
I'm not going to let you go.
Magneto was right. Remember,